Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. It is I, Jesse Milestone, coming to you on this Friday with both good news and bad news.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Where people were just walking around, just jizzing force all over the place. He looks like he has been drinking soy from his mother's teat. Wrap yourselves in, guys, because we are gonna get mean!
I got him! Great kid! Don't get cocky!
Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone. I'm your god empress of Mindless Entertainment, of this. And fearless leader of the Mindless Mob. Me. It's the Matriarchy. It's Wednesday, Anna.
It is
Matriarchy Day. And that's Anna. She's my co-host. She's the greatest.
Hello.
That's Star Wars girl. You guys should know her by now. Yeah, we're starting Yinsid. What's up, Yinsid? Adri Reese, Alexander the Great One. I will not read whatever you wrote because I'm sure it's terrible and will hurt me. But I like you anyway. Jet Sparked is having a meltdown, but it's okay. He's allowed. Patrick T. I like your emojis. Oh, they're very Anna. They're very Anna emojis. Late and gay. Thanks, Alexander. I'll read that one. Hair of the dog. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, all of you. It's the day that we do. I mean, look, we're women, and it's our first show since the Oscars. So obviously, we have to talk about the Oscars, right?
Of course.
Yeah, we're not.
I didn't watch the Oscars. I have no idea who won anything, but I'll talk about it. You know what I miss, Jesse? This is the most girly thing I can probably say right now. I miss when they had the show, like the pre-show for the Oscars, and all the girls walked down and they asked them what dress they were wearing, and it was like a zoom in of their outfits and their looks. I liked that, and they took it away because like, oh, that's classist. They shouldn't like be bragging about how much their dresses cost or what designer designed their dress. I'm like, bitch, I fucking liked that. That was the only thing that I liked, because now all of the movie stars, they're not movie stars anymore. They're all activists and psychos. I like if you watch old Hollywood and like Elizabeth Taylor walking down, or like Vivian Lee, and like what they're wearing, and they're all glamorous, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm wearing Versace, and they custom designed this, and it was made by blind like orphans in Italy and stuff like that. Like, I liked that. Okay, I'm a fucking girl. I liked that shit. I would watch the shit out of that. And they're like, oh no, we have to take this away. I'm like, fuck you guys.
They did that this year though. They had the pre-show.
But you're not allowed to like say what design, or they're not allowed to ask them like the designer or like about how their outfit was made, or why
they
it was
volunteer that information anyway. So
well, yeah, they will, but the people aren't allowed to ask, because usually they used to go in depth on it.
Oh yeah, it used to always be about that. I will say it was definitely case by case from what I caught on the pre-show while we were setting up and shit. It was definitely case by case. Oh yeah, Mama Hicks was cooking for all of us too that night. It was delicious. Some people, it was like if they had something to say, then they talked about what they had to say. But for most people, for a lot of them, it really was just as deep as the outfits and that. I was like, well, there's literally nothing else to talk to these people about. So what are you fucking wearing? I just miss the days when like women wore dresses. Like I'm all about. I actually think like Kristen Stewart in the little pantsuit thing, that made sense. That's actually like one of the nicer things she's worn recently. Like usually she does the like, let me drape some trash bags and curtains on myself look. And so I thought like going with a proper suit for the Oscars was very classy of her. And I'm like, all right, shorts, it's a summer look, whatever. You got to do something weird and edgy. But I was really impressed. I'm like, oh, you're nominated. You're up for one. I don't think she won. Didn't actually pay attention to that category at all. But
what was she up for?
Best actress for playing Princess Di. She reportedly did a great job, actually. I kind of wanted to check it out just to see how far she's come. But yeah, there was like a lot of weird sort of like power pantsuity kind of looks. There was this also like 3 different women wearing like the same. One was on a pantsuit one, a couple were on dresses, the same like giant red shell top. And I'm like, dude, stop advertising. You don't have the tits to fill that thing. You're making us other small look like we have big tit envy, and we don't. Come on, the rest of us are fine with our small tits. So yeah, that was a lot. I mean, those are my take. Oh, the Oscars were supremely racist.
Really?
Yeah, like they brought the first presenters out to Africa by Toto. This was also clearly they were like this. So last year you had the worst ratings of all time. You had the narrative, oh my god, the Oscars are dying, nobody's watching them anymore. And so now, as Jeff points out, now that nobody's watching them, now the Oscars are for Black people. That's how it always works. When nobody cares, now we can make it for Black people. And the way they did that was by taking away the live orchestra and having a DJ instead, and then putting up the
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they had 3 hosts. They had Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer, and Regina Hall.
I saw that, and I'm like, I saw their joke about how women don't get paid as much, so that's why there's 3 of them there, and that's like the price they paid for a man. And I'm like, and you guys still are overpriced.
And they still pay too much.
I was like, I would understand if they got like Beyonce to do it. And like, oh yeah, we're going to have a Black woman and it's not biased because she's not an actress really. And we have fucking Beyonce because it's Beyonce or like Lapita or something. Well, it needs to be somebody that has stage presence, which is why I say Beyonce.
Sure.
Because I think she could host a show.
Yeah. Wanda Sykes was the only one of the 3 of them that was actually qualified to be up there.
Yeah.
No question. Absolutely. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. To me, it felt like, we got Wanda Sykes, who legitimately could have hosted this show, and then we padded it out with 2 people we wanted to give a nod to shut up some fake progressives and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Kai, what's up? Also, Andy, I saw you rolled in. Man Squatch, what's up, my dudes? Hey Tyler Preston. No live. Okay, so then the best part is though, right? You get 2 hours into this, you get to the last hour of the show instead of dragging the fuck on. And all of a sudden they're like, for the last hour of the broadcast, it'll be hosted by Chris Rock with a live orchestra. So you're like, oh, so for the last hour when the white people tune in to watch who won Best Picture, you made it for white people again. Good job.
Of course.
Exactly. And I'm like, dude, so they're playing, they want to like play Black music. Bless you. I got
Thank
the DJ spinning. What's up, Yellow Spider-Man 2? And all that shit's going on. And then of course we have the big moment. We have the moment where we switch over to the real comedian and the real stuff, and it actually gets funny and interesting. And Chris Rock decides to make a bald joke about Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh my God.
And Will Smith, famously cucked regularly by Jada Pinkett Smith, decides that the appropriate response, the time to defend your woman's honor is not when she's fucking another man. No, it's when a man makes a joke about her baldness.
But she laughed at. He was cracking up, and she was like, she almost like laughed, and then she's like, and that's when we got up there to slap him. I'm like, he was fucking laughing his ass off, and he's like, "Don't talk. Get my wife's name out of your fucking mouth." It's like, you laughed at it, bitch. We saw you. It's on camera.
But then he realized that she was pissed off that he laughed, and the only way he was going to get out of this was by making it Chris Rock's problem. So yeah, walks up, smacks face, walks down, yells, screams, wins an Oscar less than an hour later.
He did?
Yeah, he won Best Actor.
What was he in for?
King Richard, where he played the father of Venus and Serena Williams. And then he went on for 5 minutes. Nobody cut him off. People got cut off, not a lot. A couple people got cut off early on after they only gone for like a minute. And then we also noticed it was like, depending on your influence and or diversity meter, you got to talk for different lengths of time.
What did he say? I didn't watch it.
He rambled for 5 minutes.
Aren't you like cut off after like 30 seconds?
Not Will. 5 fucking minutes. Rambled about how it was his job to protect these little beautiful actresses that he was on set with, and how he feels like it's his job to protect people and all the things he's going through and all of this stuff and blah. And then he apologized to the Academy, and yeah, it was very uncomfortable. It didn't make any sense. At least his Oscar looked like his wife. Man Swatch gonna get slapped for that one. I should have had a Will Smith slap button ready for today. My bad.
Oh my God.
Okay. So one of the talking points here is that you can't make fun of Jada Pinkett Smith's baldness because she suffers from alopecia. Alopecia, for those who don't know, is an autoimmune disorder in which your body attacks your hair follicles and makes them go bye-bye. For some people, it just attacks your head hair. For some people, it'll be.
You know what's funny? I don't know if she's telling the truth about that. Because she still has the stubble. When you have alopecia, doesn't it just all fall off?
Sometimes it can take time, and she has shown pictures of her bald spots under it. So like basically
I saw a little bit and she's like, it looks like I have a scar. And I'm just like, no, it looks like you used to wear weaves every single fucking day of your life and you lost hair in that one spot, which is very common for Black women that wear weaves for a very long time, especially lace front, because for those that don't know anything about weaves, it's where they braid your hair and then they sew like, the fake hair into it. There's different types of weaves and all of that. But I mean, most Black women wear weaves. You have never seen Beyonce's real hair. Every time you see Beyonce's hair, it's a weave.
Yep.
She wears lace front weaves, which is how they glue it down, and you can look up pictures that aren't edited where you can see it like pulling. Mm-hmm. So that way it looks like they have a hairline and all of that stuff. Jada's been wearing weaves since the beginning of fucking time. So that one line that she showed in like her video, I'm like, a lot of Black women have that, and it's a bald spot from their weave. So I'm like, I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. And also, if she's self-conscious about it, why doesn't she wear a wig? Exactly. Lots of Black women wear wigs. Jada has worn wigs before.
So, all excellent points. Whether or not she's telling the truth, the thing is, I saw a picture somewhere that looked like maybe she did have a bald spot. Whether or not she's telling the truth, though, it doesn't fucking matter. Alopecia, even though it is an autoimmune disorder, it's really one of its own in the lot. If you're going to draw lots for autoimmune disorders, alopecia is one of the best ones you can get, because really the only symptom is that. That's it. Other autoimmune disorders have symptoms like your body attacks your muscles and destroys them. Your body attacks your organs and you die. Your body thinks all foods are bad for you, and there's a very short list of foods you can eat without getting violently ill. That's a lot of what the autoimmune field can be. It can be really ugly. Now, according to Jada, she had it diagnosed. She had an incident where she was in the shower, her hair started falling out. She looked for answers. She got it diagnosed. Blah blah blah. That's her documented journey with it. Blah. So the thing is, just like Anna is pointing out, it doesn't matter whether it's true or not, because Jada is not in the position to suffer from alopecia. She's just a person who lives with alopecia. Anna, do you know what she wore on her head to the 2022 Critics' Choice Awards this year?
A wig?
Nope. She wore a crown, a little headpiece, a little like headpiece made of diamonds.
Oh yeah. I think I saw that going around.
Do you know how much that was worth?
A lot.
Over $46,000.
Yeah.
That's not suffering. When you can put $46,000 worth of diamonds and gold on your bald ass head, you can take a fucking joke when you're sitting at the Oscars that has a ticket to get in that's more than the average American pays for rent.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we're supposed to feel bad for her about this. I don't understand where my sympathy is supposed to come. Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm sure it was scary for her when she realized she had it. I'm sure just like any other person, she went through some amount of grief for losing, the fact that her ability to grow natural hair, or the fact that she will, since she clearly hasn't fully lost it, since yes, she does have some stubble still. Lots of it, actually. It's exactly. Thank you, fake Jada. I'm proud of my baldness. I don't care what other people think, except when people joke about it, and then they can get punched.
Is that Russell?
I hope so. No, if it was Russell, she'd be wearing a mustache.
That's true.
Hey, Sweet Pea's here. What's up? Yeah, Jada's proud of to put a crown on her head, but isn't when someone makes a joke about it. Yeah, that's I can't wait to hear Chris go. Yeah, so Chris Rock has his first show back on tour since the Oscars tonight in Boston of all places. So I'm very curious. Actually, I'm like curious to know, like, is he live yet? Like, can we trace this live? Can we get some live updates on a Chris
I bet you he's gonna do what Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle did, where they make you like hide your phones, or you can't have your phones on you. I totally didn't have 2 phones, and they only put away one. And I totally didn't do like a voice memo thing, and I totally didn't listen to it after, and then cringe at how drunk I was.
Okay, the plot
totally didn't happen.
The plot thickens.
There are 2 spiders right here that are now on my hand.
Spiders. So the plot thickens, by the way. Man, Squatch. Chris Rock boot off stage, Boston in flames. Film at 11. It's Boston. I sincerely doubt that. I think Boston's going to welcome him. Okay, apparently Will Smith refused. Okay, the Academy released a statement that said things unfolded in a way we could not have anticipated. While we would like to clarify that Mr. Smith was asked to leave the ceremony and refused, we also recognize we could have handled the situation differently.
Wow.
So you recognized in the moment how uncool it was that shit happened. And yet, when he said no, when you were like, you got to go, and he said no, you didn't. So having been in the position at an event where somebody's been asked to leave, there's a very specific protocol that happens. You ask somebody to leave. If they refuse, you move up the chain of command until you have the highest authority that can ask them to leave. And if they refuse to leave, you bring security to escort them out. And if security doesn't have the authorization to put their hands on the person, you get the police. And that's the chain of events. And you can better both fucking leave that the Oscars have tight-ass security and have people that could definitely put their hands on Will Smith and get him out of there without making too much of a scene. And instead, they chose that alone, bringing people in to escort him out would have been too much. You allowed the spectacle of the slap, but you could not allow the spectacle of escorting Will Smith off the premise after he had assaulted somebody else.
Bad look.
Real bad look, Academy. Real bad look. Yes, Doug, we are being shown that rules only apply to certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, what would happen to you if we were walking down the street somewhere and somebody made fun of me because I was Jewish and you went up and slapped them?
Me? I'd probably... Who's the person that is... like, is it a big, gigantic black guy, or is it like a small SJW woman?
Let's not be racist. It's a big, gigantic Middle Eastern dude.
Oh, I'd get socked in the face.
Yeah. What happens if it's a Karen? What's going to happen then?
I'm going to get my hair pulled.
Or the police called on you and sued.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
That is true.
What's going to happen if that Karen decides to press charges against you for assault?
Well, I mean, she's going to lose because it's against me, but...
I was saying, is in an instance of a regular person who doesn't have the money to get a defender, to go to court, they slapped the wrong person in an instance, a moment of passion, defending their loved one from being made fun of.
Yeah, well, now is everyone sues everyone in today's day and age, so that's probably what's going to happen. But even freaking, why am I blanking on his name? Chris Rock, he refused to press charges because he's just like, nah. And it's like, never, I told you this before we went on air. It's like never in a million years did I think I would say or think that Chris Rock is cooler than Will Smith, because Chris Rock is just like, it was a fucking joke, man. And Will Smith throwing a temper tantrum and Chris Rock just laughs at him. I'm like, you can't get more alpha and beta than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You think you're being a man defending your woman? Yeah, you just showed your color. You
let your woman get fucked by teenagers, basically.
Exactly. Like, who are you to think that anybody looks at you as a man? Anybody. Dude. And that was
he laughed at the joke. It's not like he made fun of like, oh, you know, he's being spiteful. He obviously didn't know Jada had that disease. He probably just thought, oh, she shaved her head bald. Let me make a G.I. Jane joke, which Will laughed at.
Exactly. Exactly. I like that someone was like, it's clearly documented. I read an article. I was like, all the times that Jada Pinkett Smith has talked about her alopecia. It's like 3. There's like 3 or 4.
Well, it's like, do you think that's the thing that I think? So Jada is so entitled that everyone knew this. I didn't fucking know it. The world, everyone watching the fucking Oscars didn't know. Because guess what? Jada Pinkett Smith is no one. What has she been in? I can't even name one movie off the top of my head that she has been in. I can't. I don't know why she's famous aside from being married to Will Smith. I really don't.
She was in the second 2 Matrix movies.
Oh, she was?
I only know that because Jeff.
Oh, she was. See, she's so forgettable.
She was that really extraneous character that was just like more annoying Morpheus.
She's a B-list actor at best, probably a C-list. The only reason she has any relevance is because she's married to Will fucking Smith.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, but like the entitlement that you think that the entire world knows this about you. It's like, no, everyone just learned about this right now. You can probably check Google Analytics and see when everyone in the world started Googling Jada Pinkett Smith alopecia, right?
So I have a friend who's paralyzed from the waist down. And whenever he finds somebody that we're hanging out with who hasn't heard the jokes that I made about him in my comedy routine, he asked me to tell it to them. The punchline to my bit about Sean in the chair is that I'm never worried about him. He can do whatever he wants to me, blah, 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 because I'm never afraid of him because I can just find stairs. Shit's hilarious.
That is funny.
Thank you. He loved it.
You can just find stairs. That's so fucked.
It's true.
It's so true, but it's so fucked.
I mean, it helps. Like, he's the guy who calls me boobs, and I'm like, it's very unprofessional of him because everybody knows my ass is the better feature, but he gets away with it because he's in the chair, so he's at tit height. And he also gets away with sexual harassment because, yeah, I can always escape by just elevating my surface.
Yeah.
Up. You can't catch me here. I'm on a balcony. Haha. Sean's a great guy. I saw him in Richmond. I was in Richmond. He's wonderful. Super chat. Thank you. Russell heard. We have been heard. And we have been seen. I feel seen by you, Russell. Thank you for Jada and a mustache. Lick it or my cuck will slap you. The New Zealand Mint is releasing a Han Solo and Carbonite rectangular silver coin next month that looks fully legit. I recommend checking it out. Oh my God. Any New Zealand listeners, get me one of these motherfuckers. Either that or I'm flying to your country to fucking get one. Holy shit. I want it.
Can I get one too, New Zealanders, if anyone's in the chat?
And Zid, I know I have some of you out there. Fucking hook me up. I don't care what it takes. I will just get me one and hang on to it for me. I will fly to New Zealand eventually to pick it up from you in person. I don't care. I'll pick up yours too. On there, Anna. What a name. Lick it or my cuck will slap you. Can you imagine that situation? Can you imagine? And like, do you think Will Smith has been compromised that much that he would go after a man because that man refused to have sex with his wife? Has he been compromised that much?
Well, it's like, it's great because he's like, oh, he gets to fuck actresses like Margot Robbie because they have the open marriage. So he's probably like, oh yeah, I get to still bang all these like Hollywood actresses and whatnot, and it's not, my wife's not going to dump me. And then she gets railed and breaks it to him by her son, their 20-year-old son's best friend. And then it's like, okay, I made the mistake. It wasn't worth it.
You thought you were winning. You was just getting cucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, the women will always win in that situation. Just heads up. Men always think they're going to come out better in that one. Oh, we'll go open. I'll be slamming pussy all the time, left, right, and center. And my woman will just be faithful to me because she loves me. Yeah, no. You do that kind of shit. And that's what you're going to get because bitches be cray. And also bitches be petty and don't handle their feelings as well. They don't compartmentalize their feelings. They don't separate that and their sex nearly as well as the men do. So they're going to start doing shit, even if they don't think they are. They're going to start doing shit to get back at you that they may not even realize they're doing. Like your son's friends. So, yeah. Yeah. The mistake Will Smith made was assuming she has standards. Yeah. Yeah, just because she married you doesn't mean she has standards. I just the normalization of violence, I think, is the really, really big problem here. That's what I have a lot of trouble with. Is like I was raised by the tenet that you do not do violence to other people, period, full stop, end, unless you're defending yourself. And outside of that, and like a couple structured situations, like, you know, sporting events or war, in general, I think that's pretty much true. I think that there's like very, very few situations in which I could see a mitigating circumstance for violence, you know, maybe not excusable, but mitigating, like, you know,
I feel like we're all so careful about this stuff. I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. We're humans. Humans are a type of animal. Animals fucking fight sometimes. And I think sometimes it's okay to punch someone in the fucking face. Because sometimes people deserve it and you won't learn that way. That's why kids in the schoolyard, okay, yeah, you know not to go up and punch the biggest fucking guy unless you got Spider-Man's fucking powers. Because you're going to get your fucking ass beat. And sometimes I think if you're saying, you know, fucked up shit, you deserve to get your ass beat. Like if we were walking down the street and somebody said, oh, you know, fuck you, you Jew, that person deserves to get their fucking ass beat.
But see, there you can actually already take the line of self-defense. Once you drop into somebody being that verbally aggressive to you, you can slip into self-defense right there. You can say, this person is doing things that indicated to me, depending on your state there. I think state by state will determine, you know, what actually constitutes a threat to your bodily harm and therefore what you're allowed to respond with. But in a lot of instances, especially as a woman, if somebody is coming at you that aggressively, you can easily make the case that I needed to act. I needed to respond in this situation because I could potentially be at risk. And if I'd waited any longer, that could be my ass. So I think those are situations, other situations too. Like if somebody is doing something fucked up, if they're breaking shit, they won't stop. If they fuck up your shit, all those kinds of things. But in general, if we're talking, or if you're talking to me, if you are attacking me with your words, even then, even in the slur and the potential threat of violence hanging in there, but for most cases, and I love violence and I want to beat the fuck out of the piss out of people, and I do think that we do need more violence and people need to get it out, and humans do need to fight more. But I don't think that we can accept dropping that line as a society. I don't think that we can survive dropping that line as a society, going so far as to say, sorry, I'm trying to get my damn camera out of the fucking sunlight here. Hold on.
Well, Jesse's doing that. I would say, I think we can all know like what's justifiable and what's not. The Will Smith punching Chris Rock, that's not justifiable because he actually wasn't offended. He's pretending to be offended because we all saw him laughing a second later and then Jada rolling her eyes like a total cunt. Which is like, if you can't take a joke over, you know, something like that, which I know she's probably joked about it. I know Will's probably joked about it before. And, oh no, but because he's making a joke and everyone's laughing. Like, she was irritated because she was embarrassed in front of everyone. Well, Jada, you look like absolute hell. Everyone knows that you've been wearing weaves and wigs since you were fucking a teenager, probably, or probably even younger. So it's like,
your choice, Hannah, since she was fucking a teenager or since she was fucking a teenager?
Since she was a fucking teenager.
Because, you know, for all intents, she is fucking teenagers, so.
Kind of. But I'm just like, that's not justifiable because he was laughing about it. He thought it was funny, and then he chose to get all offended out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes one step further. Like, we used to have this thing, we used to split hairs over remember when, as recently as when we were canceling what's his face, James Gunn. right? When we were canceling James Gunn, and it was the conversation over
what I did not cancel James Gunn.
I don't mean
I did not participate. I know.
When I say we, I mean the world. You and I do not cancel. We're not cancelers. When we, as society, when society was canceling James Gunn because they cancel people. One of the justifications that people were giving was, well, it's not a joke to me, and just you can't prove that he intended it as a joke. Maybe he really is saying this blah 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 blah. Okay, in this instance, you can clearly tell that was a joke. That it was intended to be.
Everyone laughed, including Will Smith.
He's also a comedian. On stage, I'll do what I fucking want, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith. He was a comedian on stage telling jokes. There is no way to misconstrue the intention here. Back to what we're the point before. We can split. I think have a society. I think most people have a pretty good measure of when it's okay to clock a motherfucker. And I think for most people, that doesn't include things that were intended as jokes, whether or not they land. I think we all are.
It was classless. It was tasteless, classless, pathetic, fake, all of those things.
Oh yeah. I think we can all, no matter how equally classless a joke may be, and this one was not. This one was funny.
Oh no, the joke wasn't classless. The punch
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying even in an instance where a joke was equally classless, the response is so much worse because it's a joke. It's intended as such. Can you think of a time that a comedian that you knew was joking has made a joke where they were actually warranted them being hit?
Sorry, repeat that? Where they were warranted to what?
Can you think of any time a comedian, because as we agreed, this was not a tasteless joke. This was a funny joke. There have been times comedians have made tasteless jokes. Can you think of a time that a comedian has actually made a joke that was tasteless enough that something like this, walking up and smacking someone,
I think when Kramer, when he got canceled he was just because the one guy was like nagging him and he started like saying the N-word and screaming the N-word, and then everyone got up and left. I think that guy would have been justified going up and punching him.
Yeah, but I don't think at that point you could argue he was trying to joke anymore. I think at that point...
No, he wasn't joking at that point.
He was just being vicious.
He was pissed and the audience was pissed. It was a bad set.
Exactly. And at that point, you're not joking. Like, yeah. I can't... If you audience chat, if you guys can think of something, let me know. But like, yeah, that... And what was the result of that? He got
canceled.
Exactly. Justifiably fucking so. That was an instance where everyone agreed. This wasn't even like cancel culture canceling. This was, holy shit, Kramer's a huge fucking racist, and everyone collectively agreed that we should probably not give him work anymore because he's a giant fucking racist. Yeah, so...
I think he thought that he could be like Quentin Tarantino and say it.
Yeah,
which
no.
Definitely not the case there.
Even Tarantino is walking on thin ice these days. Honestly, the only reason Tarantino hasn't taken more heat for that is because Samuel L. Jackson keeps going to bat for him.
Well, I think like every black guy that he works with goes to bat for like with him because that's the thing. It's like everyone knows that Quentin's not racist. He's not racist. He's not sexist. All he cares about is making art. And he's like, yeah, he does time period things. And he's like, this is what they would say. This is realistic.
That said, and I do land in the personal camp of Quentin Tarantino definitely uses that excuse because he likes to get to say the N-word. And not because he's racist, because he's one of those people. He's an iconoclast. He is that.
He looks like I'm naked right now.
What? It totally does. Oh my God. I should read the super chat really quick. Tyler Preston says, incoming news of Will Smith's new movie co-starring Jack Murphy. The movie's called Beta Boys. Oh, harsh, Tyler Preston. Harsh. Lick it or my cuck will slap you. Thank you, Russell. Seriously, go to their website and have a look. Limited mintage of 5K. For 1 or 3 ounce versions. They have Baby Yoda coins too. I think they might go quick. Holy shit. What? All
right, don't buy me that. That's expensive.
No, I think that's just the amount that they're making. I don't know how much it's costing. New Zealand Han Solo coin. I'm sorry that I'm very loud today, by the way. I don't know why I keep
fine.
getting too loud. It's $300 apparently, or according to
Ooh.
this. Let's see. Hold on. Where do
Hi, Steve.
New Zealand Mint silver coin? You $109. I might actually have to get this. This is a unique 1 ounce pure silver coin engraved with one of the greatest heroes of the rebellion, Han Solo, frozen in carbonite. The coin has been shaped like a bar to accommodate a full-length version of the frozen Han as he appeared in the 1980 movie Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. An antique finish has been applied to enhance detail. Officially licensed and legal tender, you will find the Ian Rank Broadley effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and the Lucasfilm copyright on the opposite side of the coin. Both coins also have an antique finish to enhance the detail. Each coin arrives nestled in black velvet inside a Star Wars branded box. A window in the box allows easy display of this magnificent memento. A certificate of authenticity is provided on the reverse of the box, along with a serial number of the coin inside. This coin is a perfect package for any Star Wars fan, but the worldwide mintage is limited to only 5,000. Okay. Yeah. What? Let me show you guys this. This is, you might want to get this. Here's the link, guys, if you want it. I'll send it in the private chat too, Anna, if you want to check it out.
Okay.
Because 109, I might spend it for. It's really cool. Here, let's share so y'all can see. Thank you, Russell. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. When did this go up? Because I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's the front.
That's a coin?
Yep. That is real money. And there's the back.
That's dope as hell.
Yep. I think I need this.
I think I need it too.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this link to Jeff right now so he can look at it. Actually, I'll tell him to show it on his stream. Because Jeff had to do his Thursday show tonight again because
you guys are going out of town.
Because what?
Because you guys are going out of town
again. We just live on the road now. And to Jeff. Yes. Send. Ooh, what was this kid sending? Oh, it's something about weed. Cool. Oh, is that someone using a cigarette lighter on their car as a dab rig? It totally fucking is. That's brilliant.
I remembered what I wanted to ask you. You're a big Halo fan, right?
Yeah, I won't watch it.
Oh, I watched it.
Oh God. How bad is it?
Well, let me ask you, in the games, is it like about a bunch of crying teenage girls and a bunch of incompetent women?
No. It's about
that's what the show is about. It's about a bunch of crying teenage girls that are mad, that don't like their dads or their government or their situation, and they're mad about it. And there's a bunch of women that run everything, and they're pissed and they're incompetent, and nobody listens to them.
I heard Master Chief's not even the main character.
He's not. It's some Asian teenage girl. Also, I thought Master Chief doesn't take off his helmet.
He does. He does.
I know there's like one game where you get to see his eyes.
So
right,
you never see it in the game. He never takes it off in the game.
But he does in books and stuff, right? He does
in the books. Like it's not a thing in the books that for him to not take it off. So, yeah. So it's fine. Like it makes sense in a show that he should. What doesn't make sense is that he's apparently sympathetic to this whole like anti-UNSC bullshit.
Okay, can you actually like explain some things to me? Because I've never played Halo. I know nothing about it. And I was on a stream and nobody was answering my questions. Okay, so these alien things, what are they called? The Covenant?
Yes. Also, I did not realize that you saying hi to Steve, that Steve Roberts just paid $50 to say hi to you. So
that's a thing. So Steve Roberts, on any stream that I'm at, he will send a $50 super chat just to say hi, Anna.
oh, Steve, you're awesome.
So hi, Steve.
Oh, hi, Steve. Thank you for allowing me to be the benefactor of your Anna hello. That's awesome. I'll use it to get Anna drinks next time we hang out.
I know, I almost went there, but I forgot that today was Wednesday. But yeah, I got a lot of questions about Halo and I don't know anything about it.
No worries. I will. Oh, Jeff, I sent you a link on Facebook. You might want to look at what it is. Yeah, it's I'll spoil it for you, but you can share it with your show. New Zealand minted a Han Solo frozen in carbonite coin. It's a rectangle. It's $109. If you want to go ahead and order that one right now, I gotta do some things in order to do it right now. But if you wanted to order one for us, I will pay you halfsies on it. Since I know you're a quick click.
This is why we're gonna buy it, folks. This is what we keep in our living room.
Oh, dude,
we have a Millennium Falcon headpiece to the staff of Ra. So I'm just saying.
Can I have that?
Nope.
Oh, Anna was showing us. It was
I can tell you where to get one, Anna, because it's made of gold, and you can get it from Utah Challenge Coin.
Hey! Look at what I have, though.
Yeah, I was about to say.
What is that? Is that?
Look at it. It's the book of the
book of life.
Life. Yeah.
Oh,
nice. The book of the living from the mummy. Wait! I have this too. Oh my god! I opened the book, guys.
It has the key in it for it.
So it's deceiving. This is the one that kills you. It takes life away. The Book of the Dead's the one that brings people back.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I love it. I was just telling her that. What?
I'm supposed to take some California.
My Book of the Dead one is broken. I'm really upset about that.
Lick it or my cuck will stop. Uses self-defense requires at least a verbal threat. Yes, that's what my understanding was. Lancer says Chris can take a hit. He learned from the best. He learned it from the great white ninja from Beverly Hills choking chickens. Oh god. Honestly, Chris Rock just took that whole moment like a champ. Like the hit will look kind of like a bitch hit. Yeah. Caesar Jorpin says Anna cosplay Jill Valentine from Resident Evil.
I actually am. So this is the top that I got for my Jill Valentine cosplay. I don't know. It's nice. It's really, really soft. It's got a built-in bra. It's great. I love it. I ordered it in like every other color. I have the wig. I have the skirt. I'm just looking for the boots, and I have the jacket that she has tied around her waist. So yeah, but actually, guys, I lost my list of all the characters for those that don't know, I did a cosplay calendar, which is shipping now. For everyone that said it doesn't exist, she stole your money. No, shit happens, and printing, oh my god, believe it or not, it takes a minute to print things, especially when your binding gets stuck on a boat, and the U.S. government will not let you go out to the big boat to get the binding off of it because they'll say you're a national security fucking threat, and you have to wait. But
super chat about this. If y'all haven't heard about Anna's attempted piracy, you should you I don't know where you've been. You have not been watching Anna long enough, clearly. You must have tuned in yesterday, because that's the only way you have heard.
It's always people that complain are people that don't watch my channel, that don't know anything about me, and didn't buy it and don't read the updates.
Yeah, because literally everyone else, it's like you don't have to explain it for yourself now. If anyone out there is bitching, it's like you can see other people are responding, being like, yo, this is what happened. Like they're just telling the story for you. So
exactly.
Like,
it's like, wow, people that actually backed it and paid attention to the story and know that I added on extra months to make up for lost time. Wow, crazy. By the way, if anyone is from the UK that bought this, can you guys please vote to remove the VAT tax? That would be great. Please and thank you. When will I get Anna's non-existent calendar? Well, the non-existent calendar that's very, very existent. Guess what? It's shipping now. So it depends on when you ordered it and what you ordered is when you're going to get it. I just sent out a bunch of stuff to Australia today. So all you Australians, good luck. But yeah, it exists. Isn't that crazy? And also people are complaining about the font. Of course, people that didn't buy it. But I'm like, this, because it's comic stands. And I'm like, I like comic stands. Also, look into why people that have dyslexia like comic stands. It's because I don't get fucked up with it. Crazy how that works.
It also like has the word comic in it, and
I know, crazy, isn't that?
Like Caesar Jorpin says, in honor of Anna's attempted piracy, suggests several pirates from video games for calendar. Bonnie Janae, King of Fighters, Riptide, Eternal Champions, Risky Boots, Shantae, May, Guilty Gear. I'll leave that.
I need you to leave that up so I can type in all of these names.
Can you take a screenshot of it?
Let me just take that right now. Thank you. Actually, so the next on my little thing. So the next one that I'm going to be doing is actually a video game. So these are, I lost my list, and so I can't remember the last couple characters. These are the ones that I'm going to be cosplaying as so far. So Samus from Metroid, Miranda from Mass Effect, Jill Valentine from Resident Evil, and of course she's going to be February. Big surprise. I wonder why. And then Revan, I'm going to do a female version of Revan from KOTOR. I'm going to do the Handmaiden from KOTOR 2, Brienne. And then I'm going to do Jade. Everyone was requesting Mortal Kombat, so I picked Jade because I didn't have anyone else that was in a green outfit. I was thinking about Katana, Princess Katana, but her outfit is like a thong, so I wasn't really comfortable with that. But Jade is like all cleavage, so I mean, you guys can... I guess you guys might like that one. But I'm going to be Jade from Mortal Kombat 2. 7 of 9 from Star Trek Online, which if you guys watch my P.O. Box opening, you guys will see the amazing bodysuit. I had an artist custom design, and then it came all the way custom made bodysuit just for me for 7 of 9. And then I'm going to be Cortana as well.
Yes.
But I think it's the version from Halo 3 or Halo 4. The one where it's like, it looks like she's got like stuff going up and it looks like kind of a painted on pixelation suit or something.
That's 1 through 3. She looks like that pretty much. Her hair changes in them, but and the
she still has short hair. I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing 4 other characters and I cannot remember what they are.
I'm sure somebody will remind you.
I only had room for 1 more character, and I'm missing... Oh, Harley Quinn from Arkham City. That was another one.
Lick it or my cock will slap you says, what are the odds Steve is Henry Cavill? I mean, you'd have to ask. That would be pretty exciting for Anna, I'm sure. Ginger Viking Jesus says, silver is worth about $200 a pound. So the bar is roughly half a pound, and it was how much? Also, I love that Anna is pulling...
Oh, Lara Croft, thank you!
It's less than half a pound, honestly. It's I think I say it was 3 ounces. That's not even quite a quarter of a pound. So it's a markup, but you're also paying for the, the collector's item. So I feel like that's overvalued by about 100% on the silver, because then it should only be about $50 per the silver. But again, you're paying for the collector's item. So I think doubling the price on that is actually not that. If that's what silver's worth right now, I think that's actually not that bad of a markup for a collector's edition.
Somebody is saying don't do Harley Quinn, but I'm like, I did Harley Quinn for this calendar. Can you share my screen? And I just posted the first picture, like official picture of it up on my Instagram. And people, 2,000 people liked this already. So, and people have been talking on Twitter all day about how much they like my Harley Quinn. So I think, and also guys, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I've been posting, it's kind of messed up right now, but it's that Star Wars Girl 77. And I've been posting like my cosplay on here. So, go check that out. But, no one's complained about my Harley Quinn so far.
I think your Harley Quinn's turned out great. I love like the light with the way that like the red smoky look behind it. Oh, that was really cool.
Thank you.
Valiant Renegade says, hail to Jess, Jeff, and Anna. On a completely unrelated note, I'm eBay auctioning the contents of a seized shipping container full of sexy calendars.
You fucker.
Ha ha ha, Valiant Renegade. If any of your calendars don't get there, blame Valiant Renegade for intercepting the shipment. Baltimore guy says, har har har, hello from the East Coast, stay awesome, ladies. You too, Baltimore.
Hello
guy. You too, you're fine, man. He's the you guys are fine one.
This is driving me crazy that I can't remember the last character I had on my list.
Audience, anybody remember? I'm sure you've said it out loud before and people have probably listened. I drink, therefore I am. Liver, what's up? I get to meet Liver this weekend. What a pleasure. After death by PowerPoint and learning by drinking from the fire hose. Does that help? Does that does the learning stick better that way?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. And finally, lick it or my cuck will slap you. Silver trades by troy ounces or by the gram, not by pounds. I don't know these things. Okay.
It wasn't Zelda. I originally had Zelda on my list, but I'm not, since I'm already doing Samus and she's from Nintendo.
Someone asked about Daenerys.
No, this is video game characters only.
Oh, video games, right? Video games.
Mhm.
I forgot the video games.
No, yeah, I'm just.
So now
Miranda's on the list.
Now that we're caught up, Halo question.
Yeah. Tifa, thank you. That was the one.
Oh, there you go.
Now I have one more like empty slot for a character.
Well, Cesario Japan gave you a list of suggestions.
I need to go look into them. But okay, so my question, can I start asking you about Halo now?
Please, by all means, lay it on me.
Okay, so can you explain to me the aliens? Because I don't know.
Okay. Yes, the Covenant. So the Covenant is your it's a little different from how it works in other games, because the Covenant are not just one species. They are they're an alien collective, basically. So all the ones that look different are actually different species. That's why. So you have like the grunts or the little guys. Or the
that made sense because there was a different type of alien.
And so like some of them have breathe in different atmospheres. So like some of them will need to wear suits where other ones don't. Yeah, so different aliens, different shapes. So you have your grunts are your basic smallest little ones. Your jackals are a little bigger. Brutes or your elites are like people size with these crazy mandibles. Brutes are like big gorilla ones, and hunters are the gigantic ones. Now I don't know where this game takes place in terms of where the storyline is, the plotline is supposed to be, but in the plotline of the games, there's actually a fracturing of the Covenant, and they've split up and they turn against each other. The Covenant's ruled by their prophets, who are other species as well, who are basically like considered priests and stuff, and they just tell them what to do, and they're guided by the Forerunners, who were another race of aliens that purportedly, left all their teachings for what the Covenant were supposed to do. So that's the Covenant pretty much in a nutshell. And they've been
alien, and they are against humans. Why?
They've been enemies with humans since it was basically the Covenant. Why are they originally at war? I know that it's been a thing since the beginning, like the Covenant Wars. There were Covenant human wars, basically. And they've, I think it's mostly just like, clashing into each other and crossing territories and wanting what the other ones had and stuff. And so the Covenant were trying to find Earth. It was always this big deal to keep Earth secret from the Covenant because the Covenant had superior firepower and superior weaponry. Okay. And so, the humans were really were always kind of on their heels with the Covenant. Truth, reconciliation.
Okay, I have to pee, so I'm going to be right back. But now I have like a million questions to ask you based on that. So I will be right back.
Catch up with those in the meantime. Yes. So we're gonna open up this whole can. I'm so excited. Welcome to the Halo part of the show, guys. I can't fucking wait. Lick it or my cuck will slap you. Is a thong really going to show anything that the rogue picture didn't already show off? Also, come on, we all saw the vid. I'm really glad that Anna wasn't here for me to read that super chat. Russell is the perfect one for her to miss. Maybe she did that on purpose. Ginger Viking just says, hey, I'm just saying, I've got 110 pounds of copper sitting in front of me on my desk, and it's worth $4.77 a pound. And another 40 pounds waiting to get melted down. There you go. All right. Well, that sounds like a lot of copper and like you've got some money. with stuff. You should make some coins. You should make some solid. What you should do is learn how to replicate their exact print of the Han Solo ones and sell them, the perfect print as $50 knockoffs. And the thing is, it's like you change. I don't know how much you'd have to change to like escape copyright, and that would be a perfect replica. I don't know how these things work. Don't do crime, or do. I don't know. Okay, well, apparently, according to Russell, copper trades by the pound because it's not a precious metal, but precious metals trade by those other things that he said about us. Jesse said it makes her look ginger. Wow. So I do have some strawberry highlights. I'm like somewhere between like dishwater and strawberry blonde. Not as blah and boring as dishwater. I'm like golden blonde usually, but with some strawberry.
Blonde.
What? Are you just making fun of my blonde?
You're talking about blonde?
Yes. Someone was saying that this my setup makes me look ginger, and I was like, yeah, I actually have a lot of strawberry notes in my hair, so if you see me in the right light, I will look redder. I'm kind of like a golden blonde with strawberry highlights.
Yeah.
So, welcome back.
And go.
Okay, so you missed a super chat from Russell Hall that you would have been glad to miss. And that's most of it. So questions. You had more questions.
Okay. Did Anna wash her hands? I always wash my hands. It takes me longer to wash my hands than it does to pee.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I had to explain this to people. My bladder, I've learned to control like a faucet. Do you know how you can like turn it and it's like a little bit comes out? Another one you just turn it and it's like that's what it's like. It's like I literally kind of just sit there and like everything just comes out.
Yep.
And then I'm done. And then I have to wash my hands. I have to zip up my pants. I actually got like a piece of meat because I made steak before. And then I refilled my juice. And I refilled my juice, put my juice away. I got my other juice that was sitting there that's nice and cold. And I had to add Mio to it. I did all of this stuff. Like peeing takes me like 1 to 3 seconds. Everything else is what takes long.
Anna went on this whole adventure while we were just here discussing the price of metal.
I'm very efficient that way. Okay, so Covenant, a bunch of aliens. They don't like humans. Do they want to wipe out humans? Do they want to take over everything and like just absorb all their technology? Well, what's their thing with
kind of? It's more straightforward. Like you can think of the Covenant like Nazi Germany. Like we just want to expand and take over and fuck you and kill you, and we're just gonna take your land and murder or enslave you and steal your technology, and pretty much that kind of thing. That's like
okay. So do they want to kill all humans or they want to enslave them?
I think they're pretty much on the murdering humans train for the most part. There's not a lot of enslavement going on from what I've seen. Pretty much on the killing train.
Okay, so then they would never have like a human as an ally or as a leader, right?
It depends on the timeline. Because if you're later in the timeline, there is a point after the fall of Reach, after the Covenant does eventually the Covenant does discover Earth. And then there's a fracturing with the prophets because of the art. It's the whole part of the plot of the second game and stuff. And basically there is a fracturing. And so it's the elites, the hunters and the jackals, right? Or the grunts. I don't know. The grunts that side with the humans in this particular conflict, and then the brutes and the jackals that side with the prophets.
Well, I mean, like the leaders. So the prophets, I guess, they would never take a human child and raise it to be one of theirs. So that way they can infiltrate humans. Would they? Or would they? I don't know.
Yeah, they would raise a human child as a spy, like with the intention of like, oh, we can train you to basically be a spy and infiltrate Earth and find out Earth's human secrets. That does track. That does track that they would do that. That's actually a pretty That's one okay plot point, actually. Everything else you said sounds garbage, but I'm like, oh, that's like,
yeah, well, I mean, when you get to see like the alien leader, he's talking to some teenage girl that's got bleached. She's got dark as hell eyebrows, white, basically bleached, buzz blonde hair, and she's reading human fairy tales to become more acquainted with humanity. And they're speaking an alien language, and then they're gonna go talk to other people, the elders or something. But okay,
no, that doesn't sound like how they would do that. The Covenant would they would train you as a militaristic machine, and it would be like when you're a fucking adult and ready to do it, you would like learn how to assimilate with humans and social behavior and blah. But like the Covenant are also like they have a social structure, they have, complex language and blah blah blah. So it's not like it would be that difficult to do. It's not like you'd have to train them from a young age to be human. It's like, no, you could raise them as an alien, like as one of the Covenant, and then just like teach them enough about human shit to fit in later on, and it would be fine. Like you'd be better off that way because they'd be raised really to believe they were one of your own. They'd be like, hey, by the way, you're part of our Covenant, but you look this way. You're the only human who's part of our Covenant. So now we have a special mission for you after you've already been brainwashed into our cause, and then you'd learn about humanity. Like, that's how they would do it. I don't think they'd be stupid enough to be like, let's teach you to be a teenage human and read fairy tales.
well, yeah, because the way that I was understanding, it's kind of like in Warhammer 40K, where it's like you have the God Emperor and you have all of the humans, and then all the aliens. They just want to kill all the aliens.
Yeah.
Right? So I was under the impression that like all of the Covenant just want to kill all the humans.
Yeah.
And that's why Master Chief and the Spartans were made so that way they can fight the aliens.
Yeah. So now it is a big plot point, like I said, that the Covenant wants to discover Earth because that's obviously our home
Well,
planet.
I mean, is humans are like strategic to everything on Earth, because it seemed like they were just spread out, like they were an intergalactic species. So why do they want Earth so bad?
Earth in the game universe, Earth is still where all of their secrets, technology, militaristic hub is. That's like anything that they would never want to fall into enemy hands is on Earth, basically. As well as also like that's still, I think, their largest population center, their largest amount of like civilians and stuff, and most advanced infrastructure. So it's like the capital city essentially of
Kind of like Coruscant.
Of Galaxy Earth. Yeah. It'd be like the Coruscant of the galaxy. So it would be a big deal for it to get wiped out or even discovered in this case. So if it's still undiscovered in the show, it's like I said, it does track that they would want
They didn't even mention Earth in the show.
So what's the reason ostensibly that they want this human spy then?
To infiltrate and take over humanity. It was very brief. It was only one scene, but I'm just like, why is the aliens like top spy person that they've been training a like 17-year-old girl?
Yeah, no, they don't. If they're not trying to, literally, unless they're trying to use her to find Earth, they don't want to infiltrate because they don't respect humanity. They think they're better than we are because their technology is better. They think they're smarter than we are. They're also like a religious covenant, so they think they have this God-given right to fuck us up. So they're not like they're, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not. They don't want anything from us other than to know how to take all our shit and kill us. So unless she needs to get some key information that will help them destroy us better, they're not trying to assimilate us. They're not trying to take us over. They're not trying to subjugate us. They're not trying to bring humans into the Covenant. They're just trying to wipe us out so they can have our shit and our planet.
Okay, so that being said, now I have a better understanding of them, which was exactly what I thought. But are we certain this is an CW show? No, it's a Paramount show. Okay, so can you explain to me what the Spartans are?
Okay, so the Spartan soldiers, the Spartan soldiers were part of a very specific program developed as a way to combat the Covenant. When the Covenant were discovered, were uncovered as an enemy, when humans were pushing out and clashed with the Covenant, and the Covenant fought back and made it clear that they were not happy with us just leaving their space, but wanted to kick the shit out of us. The humans were like, fuck, we got to step up our game. And so they worked to, one of the main ways, obviously, they try to steal Covenant technology, things like that. But one of the ways they discovered to enhance our firepower was semi-biologically, was with the Spartan super soldier program. So it's kind of like a slightly more cyborgy version of like the super soldier serum for Captain America. But it's a combination of biological and cybernetic enhancements to turn you into a super soldier that's stronger, more powerful, more resilient in every way than a regular human, and also can do things like have AI implanted directly into their brains to interface, communicate with them directly, help them, guide them, etc. Things like that. That's where Cortana comes in. And so, like in the game, Lord, that's actually really fascinating. Something they're not going to explore because I don't think Cortana's not even in the game, right? Where whatchamacallit? Oh, Spartans were created to crush rebellious human colonies. I didn't remember that, Travis. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that. Apparently that was the case.
Is there a reason why like Master Chief doesn't have any memories of like his family or his past, and why that's important?
I'm trying to remember if there was something about his. They go through this intensive training. It's like they don't. Thing is, like, because Cortana was designed specifically for Master Chief, and it was designed to remind him of his mother. And so I'm trying to remember, does he actually remember her, or is it just the impression of it? It's not game-wise, no. Thank you, Travis. Travis is gonna be my other lore expert in here. Yeah. Game-wise, no. Nothing in the game. I'm trying to remember in the book, though. I don't think he's stripped of his memories. I think it's like they're taken at a very young age from their family, yes. And they go through the training process and the dehumanization process, but I don't think they're stripped of their memories at all. So were raised by the military as children. Yeah. And that's what it was. It was his mother. It was the doctor, the woman that was his maternal figure there. Yeah. I think the Spartans are usually like orphans or children that are, taken away. All the prophets of Spartan children are all taken as children. Yeah. So they're children that are taken away at a young age. They're raised in this military program. They have with maternal figures like this. This was specifically in the book where like the woman who ran their program, the one that Master Chief was in, she was supposed to be like the mom for the program essentially, and they had that really close connection, and that was why Cortana was his mom.
Okay, I thought Cortana and Master Chief was like a romantic thing.
It is, but like it sort of is, but it's sort of weird like that because like she is modeled after like his maternal figure, but also like there's definitely sexual chemistry with them, so it's weird.
Okay, so Master Chief isn't the only Spartan. There's a lot of other, right?
There once were. So again, this depends on where we are canonically. Are we before the fall of Reach, or are we after the fall of Reach?
Or before the fall of Reach. Reach is still there, and they show that as like the main human planet. Okay. And so, from my understanding, Reach is like a planet or a city, and then the aliens kill it, right, or destroy it.
Okay, so this is where it gets different though from the book and the game and the books and the games, because in the books Reach was a space station. Reach was the outpost, and the final sort of outer defense for Earth. So that was sort of the last domino to fall, like the last big defense to fall. And in the game, and that's where we kind of the game takes place in the aftermath of the fall of Reach. So it's just been destroyed. That is where every Spartan except for the Master Chief is killed. And the game picks up right in the aftermath of that, where they discover the Halo Ring and blah. And so Reach falling really does directly lead to the Covenant discovering Earth, because that's where the second game picks up. In the games though, so that's the book is how that explains what Reach is. But then when they get to it in the games and they do the Fall of Reach game, there is a beat. It's a planet now and all that stuff. So That was new. Yeah, so Reach is now the largest colony planet, but that's game canon, which was not the original original world canon back when it was a Bungie and all the game and all that stuff. So it depends on which version of the universe you accept as real.
Okay, so then what's the political situation with the humans? Because what it said in the show is that there's like the main, I guess, government, and then there's the rebels or the people that branched off and they live on like tiny little colonies in the middle of nowhere, and they don't like the government because it's all propaganda.
Okay, so I tapped out. I have not played Halo 4 and 5 in terms of the main storyline. That's when everything changed. The original trilogy, I'm very, very keen on and all that. But so I don't know if they address that later on. Travis, you can help me out here. But in the games, they do not address any dissent among the humans, at least not in the first 3. In the games, the humans are all united. UNSC is the military. And that's, out there because, I mean, humanity is pretty much under attack by the Covenant throughout most of the timeline that we're dealing with it. And so most of what you got is we're at war. You see Starship Troopers, once we go to war with the bugs, the whole rest of the movie, it's a humanity at war. So that's Halo, once the Covenant, bless you. Once the Covenant have popped into the picture, humanity has just been engaged in this struggle to try to keep the Covenant from finding Earth and destroying them, since they got entangled. And so there's not really any time given to the idea of like defecting humans at this point would be like.
Travis said colonies were resenting Earth control prior to Covenant. But Earth is the one that protects them. That's the thing that I don't know. Okay, so then let me ask you, is the plot of Halo that Master Chief turns on everyone to protect some girl named Quan? And he goes rogue because he touches some ancient artifact they found on a planet that gives him memories of his parents and his childhood and his dog. And he wants to protect some Asian girl named Quan.
What?
That's the plot of the show. It's kind of like The Mandalorian. So I'm just going to, now that you've told me, I'm going to tell you what happened in the show. So it starts off by this one space station on a semi-desert, desolate planet. Kind of looks like Australia, like the Australia outback, and then you got the like woods. And so it's run by every single diversity quota you can imagine. And the leader of it is an Asian dude. And his daughter, Quan, is a teenage girl. She goes out with her friends to find some plant that apparently is the drugs. And so they all take drugs except for her. And then she sees something. It's one of the alien ships. All of her friends get brutally killed as she's running back to the city. Then the city, which is literally just like a circle outpost, and they have like GMC semi-SUVs from like the 90s. And they all get killed by aliens, and then the Spartans show up, and Master Chief basically takes them all out. By the way, he picks up one of the people was shooting the alien with a gun. They die. Master Chief picks it up, and the gun works on killing the alien. And then everyone dies except for Quan, and so Master Chief takes her with him. And then Quan is like a crying teenage girl because everyone died, and she's covered in blood. They don't even let her take a shower. And then Quan gets talked to by a hologram of some other teenage girl that asks her to make a video to talk about how the Spartans saved them. And she's like, no, fuck you. I'm going to tell everyone the Spartans did this because I don't believe in your propaganda. And then because of that, the other teenage girl, her dad, which I guess these are both characters that got blackwashed. Her dad is talking to the other lady who is Indian, who runs everything. And he's she's not going to comply. So they're like, kill her. And so Master Chief gets an order to kill Quan as he's talking to her. And she's telling him how he killed her mother because her mother was some kind of leader of some rebellion.
Oh, I also heard that Miranda Keyes is not a naval officer anymore, but is like a scientist. That's one
I
of the
don't know who
black-
Miranda Keys is. There's some blonde woman that
That's
does
one
all
of
the
the
computer
blackwashed
stuff.
characters. One of the blackwashed characters. So she'd be a black guy and his daughter.
A black guy and his daughter. I don't remember what either their names are. The
Okay.
girl is young and like doing stuff, or she's trying to like work her way in, but her dad's like one of the top dogs underneath the Indian lady who was I'm assuming
that's
is
probably-
president. There's the blonde scientist woman who is basically in charge of the Spartans, and she has a clone of herself, which I'm assuming is going to be Cortana.
Yeah.
And then the younger girl gets mad because the dad's like, oh yeah, we're gonna kill Quan, and she's like, no, daddy, I just talked to her. And she's like, you're killing her because it's part of the treaty number 49 or something, and to like, I guess, protect humanity at all costs and whatnot. So she's mad because they're gonna kill her, and they want Master Chief to kill her. Master Chief is talking to her, and he's like, oh, she's a human. And she's like, why do you take every order? Why don't you question your orders? And after a lifetime of, I'm assuming, being a Spartan, he gets an order that says, it goes across the screen that says kill Quan. And then he's like, no. And so they try to like take off the oxygen from the ship. He bypasses it. They crash at Reach, and the doctor chick tells the other Spartans to protect him. Or like the three of them, she's like, protect him, even though he's going against orders. We need to get him and like fix him because he's malfunctioning. And they crash land, and he's having memories because when they showed up on the planet to save everyone and ended up helping kill everyone, they went into this tunnel that had all these ancient artifacts, and he touched this little triangle thing that was on the wall that gave him flashbacks of the past. Your face, as I'm explaining to you the Halo TV show.
Spartans should not be killing people at all. They should never be getting orders.
Well, no,
to
they didn't kill
people.
anyone, but they didn't like really save them. Like there was points where they could have just shot. And how come they can't aim? Right? I'm like,
they're not
why?
fucking stormtroopers. They're super soldiers.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, why don't they just shoot them in the face?
Liver, I don't actually remember what you're referencing in this super chat, but it makes more sense than the Halo TV show so far. That's because you can control
I don't know what it means either.
Vagus nerve is covered under CFR 38 4.413A, rated under code 8004. And for more insomnia beating information. Wow. Okay.
Okay. But so
please continue.
The doctor lady is like, he's having memories, which he's not supposed to. He remembers his parents and his dog. And so while that's happening, he takes control back of the ship, but it still crash lands on Reach, I guess. Every single person is like trying to shoot and get inside to kill him and to kill Quan. And Quan's like, what are you doing? We need to fight them. And he's like, well, oh, by the way, he took off his helmet to relate to her. So you get to see his face, and they picked like one of the ugliest men you could possibly imagine. And I was like, oh my God, put the helmet back on. Put the fucking helmet back on, bro. You are fugly. It's like, you remember when the Phantom of the Opera, it's like, okay, yeah, now we understand why you wear the masks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I need to
And
see
so then he touches the artifact, which superpowers the ship, and they escape. And sometime during the show, there was a scene of like the Covenant, which looks like a giant jellyfish in space. And it shows one of the priests, I'm assuming, aliens talking to the human girl who's like 17 with the bleach blonde buzz cut hair. And what was it? Flash and the guys were saying how she's probably going to be the one super soldier that the Covenant makes to fight Master Chief later on.
Great.
Yeah, so that was the plot of Halo episode 1. So is that anything like the games or the books?
No, not even close. Not even a little bit.
Okay.
Do you want to know the basic plot of the first game?
Master Chief and Cortana are on a planet, and they have to kill the aliens, right?
It's actually a lot cooler, but and hearing a bit about it actually will help you understand how very far from the show we are. I'll give you a very abridged.
What is Halo 1 about?
All right, let me read this report real quick. It says, Anna, you can always use a purple double-bladed lightsaber for the Jade cosplay. Also, I got the calendar. You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought Jada is green.
I don't know.
You know what I was going to do? I was just going to go get like a stick like from Home Depot and make it into a staff, and then spray paint the ends green to match the costume, and then have my photographer add effects in post. Here, I'll show you because my photographer did a really good job of this is my Vulcan cosplay and from like Star Trek, obviously. And so this is here, Jesse, can you show this on screen?
Yep. I'm just trying to see this stupid face.
So this wasn't there, this beam from my phaser. It was literally just me pointing an empty phaser, and he added this.
Nice.
So for Jade, I'm gonna do something like that. Well, I'll tell him like this part of the staff that has the green. Can you add the I guess it's kind of like this effect, but in green. So I'm gonna have him do that. He's really, really talented. But so my concept for this was like a Vulcan on a Borg ship. Well, she's 1/4 Vulcan.
Nice.
But yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do for Jade.
I like it. Master Chief will learn from the blonde lesbian. That's Russell's prediction. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not really. That's who they may be the Master Chief. Ew, come on. You're right. Put it back on.
I know.
Why does he look like the generic like dude Bob from like he should be like selling me sausages in fucking Brooklyn or something? Okay, so the basic plot of the first game. So, like I said, we're just coming off of the fall of Reach. So the game starts with the ship under attack, and it's Captain Keyes, who's this black guy in the game, you're under the second in command kind of guy, person, but he's not black in this game. He's white. Ship is coming under attack from the Covenant, and so but they've somehow discovered this ring called Halo that the Covenant are seeking. And they're like, oh shit, we can get here first, or we can also get here. They think, and they're like, it's some kind of weapon the Covenant are trying to use against us. So let's figure it out and use it first. So they wake up the Master Chief. They send him down to the planet with some, Marines and shit who all get fucked. And you tootle around this ring until you figure out that, you unlock something really bad. First of all, you're definitely not supposed to have done. And you release the Flood. And the Flood is another alien race that are just basically parasites that will take over they're like locusts essentially, but they're creepy and terrible and they'll suck your brains out and it's horrible. They're like the zombies of the game, basically. And so, you have discovered at this point or around this point that the weapon that is Halo can't be used in the human Covenant battle against each other because it only has one actual purpose, which is to destroy the Flood.
What's the Flood?
That's the locust creepy zombie things. And the thing is, the way they'll consume anything living, any living creature, they'll consume and they'll turn it into a host. So they'll assimilate their bodies and turn them into basically zombies, Flood zombies. And so the only way to destroy the Flood, to make sure that the Flood does not destroy all life in the universe, is to preemptively destroy all life in the universe, which is its only food source. So there's an AI programmed on the ring to activate Halo in the instance that the Flood ever escapes, which will then destroy all life in the universe. So that the Flood can be also destroyed. And so the Master Chief is now in a race to...
So that's what this is?
Yep, that's the Flood. So, yep.
So it's kind of like zombies, but alien bug-like zombies.
Exactly. Think of like alien parasites that turn you into zombies.
Okay, so and they're on the Halo?
They're on some, they're contained on some of the rings. And
so there's multiple rings.
Yes, but you don't find out. That's the whole big thing of the second one, is you go through all the first game to destroy this ring, and then the second one you find out actually there are multiple Halo rings that were placed around the universe or whatever, just in case of Flood outbreaks.
And that's like from some ancient alien culture that died, that's gone now.
Yes. Ginger Viking Jesus, I need a weapon. Has my impression.
Okay, and so once you get infected by the Flood, there's no cure?
So, yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not really an infected situation. It's like you get attacked, you either die or you don't. If you survive, you're fine. It's not like a bite. It's like, if you die, they'll just reanimate your corpse and turn it into one of them. So they're just like killing you, feeding off of you, and then using your body basically. It's pretty gross. It's actually kind of terrifying the first time you play through the Halo, the flood levels. Yeah, exactly, Russell. The ring is what you seek after the flood releases. So that's the plot of the first game is that, and basically everyone except for you, the Master Chief, dies in the process of trying to destroy this ring, including Captain Keyes. And so the second game,
wait, so why do they want to destroy the ring? Because it'll wipe out all life in the universe?
Yes, if it's activated, it'll wipe out all life in the universe. So,
and did they activate it?
No, they do not succeed at activating it. And so the Covenant also are trying to activate it because they don't know what it's for and they don't understand what it does. So the Master Chief is trying to stop the Covenant from activating it, stop the AI from activating it who wants to destroy the flood, and destroy the ring. Because
that sounds far more interesting. So everyone remember this. I'm gonna give Lofty Pixels so much shit on Saturday. So Lofty is the one on Flashcast that like always is on the opposite side of everyone, and he's been saying over and over again that if they made Halo 1 if they adapted the first Halo video game into the TV series, it would be boring because it's just Cortana and Master Chief on a planet. That is fucking bullshit. This sounds interesting as hell, and you could do a badass survival story. And I mean, that's really fucking interesting. So every single episode, it would be Master Chief finding out a little bit more of the mission, and then the flood, and then the Halo, and then all of that working up. And yeah, is it just him by himself, or is he on a team?
So it's fun actually because you go in and out. There are points where you run into clusters of Marines where you get backup from drop ships who've survived.
That's interesting. That could totally fucking work. Is there any way that is there like a compilation of like all the cutscenes from Halo 1? I mean, I can go and find them.
I'm pretty sure that somebody has cut together something like that. Also, read the book. I think the book, The Flood, it's literally just the book. It's everything you're looking for. It's the book of the first game with everything fleshed out a little bit of the characters, a little bit of the backstory, a little bit of all that stuff. So, so yeah, I actually highly recommend that. You could probably get an audiobook somewhere decently. It's not that long. It's very quick. But yeah,
let me go on Audible. I got like 20 credits. Do I just need to listen to all the Halo books and become a Halo expert so I can debate? I will.
Yes. I'm going to reread that trilogy. I'm going to go back and replay some of these games too. Yeah, definitely read the book because it gives you literally it's everything. And then you'll be able to say confidently, yeah, 1-to-1. If you had adapted this book into a movie, this is a hit. This is a blockbuster right here.
Okay, so
absolutely.
Halo 1, The Fall of Reach.
So that's going to be the preface. And then the flood, I think, the next one is going to be
the flood is book 2. Okay.
Yeah. So the flood is going to follow the game pretty much.
Okay. Let me add everything to cart. I'm going to become an expert on Halo, guys.
So Fall of Reach is going to give you all of that backstory. That's going to give you
each one of these books is like, are they all by, oh no, they're all by different people. How many fucking books are there?
There's a bunch, but so if you just do the Fall of Reach and the Flood, you'll be pretty well poised because it sounds like the show.
What about Ghost of Onyx?
That one I don't know about. I don't know when that takes place. Not all of them are good. The third is First Strike. Okay, yeah, and that's
okay. So I have in my card. I have Halo: The Fall of Reach by Eric Noland. I have Halo: The Flood by William C. Dietz.
Yeah.
Then there's Halo 3 First Strike by Eric Newland again. And then there's Halo Ghost of Onyx, Book 4. Halo Contact Harvest, Book 5.
So do the first 3. Do the first 3 because that's your original. So after...
There's 9 to 10? How many fucking Halo books are there? Holy shit.
So after 3, the thing is, after the third game, too, you also have... it changes hands. It totally, and a lot of it changes. 4 I never played because I heard how shitty it was. I heard 5 kind of got better again. But so your lore changes, your story, and that's again where you have the split. So you have some people who will say Fall of Reach the book and the Flood, the book, that's your canon for Halo. Other people will say, okay, well, then you have Fall of Reach, you have a Halo Reach the game, which is different canonically from the book, but that was a different company at this point that has it. So which one is technically the canonical one, the one that's actually in the game universe, or the one that was in the book before the game was even created?
Okay,
So
I'm just gonna buy. I'll buy the first 3, and if I don't
have
like
you
it,
ever played Halo?
I can't play first-person shooters. Peaches, when he got me my Xbox, it came with it was like the Halo bundle. I don't know what Halo games it was. I'm pretty sure it was the bad ones, like 4 and 5.
Probably.
But I tried and I couldn't get past the tutorial, and I ended up having to hide in a bush, and I threw the remote at Peaches, and he immediately picked it up and killed everything, and I was like, this is fucking bullshit.
Fair enough. It is on PC too, and it also, you can play it on easy mode. I would actually recommend just trying it on easy mode, or if you want some time, if you want to commit an afternoon, we could even stream it if you wanted. Just come up, you and I can play it on co-op on easy, the first one.
I tried playing it with him and I hid, and he killed me because he could see my screen and he knew where I was.
No, we'll play the campaign. That's what I'm saying. We won't play against each other. We'll play through the campaign on easy mode. So we'll just go through it really, really quickly, and you can just play through the story basically. And it'll be on easy mode, so if you fuck anything up, I'll just slaughter everybody and it won't be a problem.
Is on Steam. That's the thing. I don't like first-person shooters. I can try, but I don't think I can get the controls to work.
Well, that's my point, is you won't need to. You won't actually need to. You can just wander around and then pay attention to the cutscenes and hang out. You won't have to be that good at it. You can spend the first couple levels just trying to figure out the controls and then following the story. And then literally whenever you catch up on the controls, you can contribute. Cool. But on easy mode, I can just go around and clear all the areas, and then you'll just have to figure out how to walk forward. That's it.
Okay, let me see. So it's Halo, The Fall of Reach is book 1. Then there's Halo, The Flood. And then is book 3 First Strike?
Yes,
or is that book 4?
First Strike.
All right. Proceed to checkout. This better be fucking worth my 3 credits I'm about to waste, everyone.
I think it's fun. I think you'll like it too. And I think you'll, especially since we're going to be talking about this kind of stuff, I think you'll. All
right, I have them.
I'll
prove to everyone right now. Okay, everyone, see? I bought the audiobooks. Here you go. Now I only have my 9 credits available, but see, I have them. I will listen a little bit to them as much as I can before Saturday.
Zach Blackfire really wants you to get Ghosts of Onyx. Well, if she likes the first 3, I'm sure she will. So,
all right, Lofty, you're in for it, because what you just described would be really interesting for a show versus what we got.
I concur. I think you easily, because the levels in Halo, Christ, the fucking levels take a half an hour or more to play through. You could write a 45-minute episode about each level. It's 8 levels or something. There's your, nice short season. So, thanks, Russell. Halo's not an RPG, so you won't be able to farm.
Fuck you, Russell. They're all teasing me, Jesse, because I spent the first 11 sessions of my playthrough of Elden Ring just farming. So I'm at a level 102. And so I finally just now beat the first boss.
Well,
because I didn't know how to play the story, so I'm finally doing story stuff, and everyone's giving me shit because they're like, "All you've been doing is fucking farming." I was like,
I still have to start this, get into this game. Everyone's been talking about it.
You played any Dark Souls game?
No,
neither have I. I played KOTOR and now Elden Ring, and I only started playing it because everyone was talking about it, and then I seen all the game journalists rage quit it, and I'm like, I suck at video games. I'm fucking terrible. So if I can play this and figure it out, then fucking game journalists should be able to.
Then y'all are retarded. Exactly. Lancer737. Thank you for this. Halo Forward Unto Dawn is the first canon Halo film. Was that one any good? I honestly haven't watched.
Let me pull this up. Okay. Is it a fan made?
I know there's one that looked really, really good, and I can't remember which one it is. But I still need to see it.
Halo Forward Unto Dawn. You guys are gonna have to. Okay. Oh, it's a movie.
Yeah. There've been a couple of. It was good, but the ending pisses me off. So Zach Blackfire.
I have to rent it. Oh no, it's on.
Because these were, I don't think it was like made by the studio, right? It was just like,
Is
wasn't
this
like
it?
fan pitched and then just like approved or something later.
This is like a. Let me go into like it's like animated really badly.
I guess.
Is this it? I don't know. Let me go back and I'll show you. Okay, is this it? This is the one that I clicked on. It's like really badly animated.
Maybe.
It's got 3.6 million views. Action film, full-length sci-fi English.
That looks.
Is
That's
that it?
probably it? Probably.
What does chat say?
That's it. Zach B says that's it.
So I can watch it for free right here.
Looks like it.
Oh my god! Is there like a YouTube video with all the cutscenes in order so I can watch it? Do you guys know a name of that video? I'm gonna school Lofty on Saturday. I'm gonna all of a sudden overnight become a Halo expert.
Oh, have you ever seen Red vs. Blue?
No.
It's not. It's Halo, but it's not Halo. It's you would enjoy it, I think. But it started out as just basically people fucking around doing playing, like messing around in the game levels, but then adding, this story, this audio, like this whatever, basically, creating a little Halo-esque drama, like story by playing around as the characters. And then it grew into this whole long series with these like deeper plot points and these existential elements. And it was very, I still have to go back and follow all through, but it's like really funny, really strange. A lot of characters.
Oh, look, we have Master Chief in the chat.
It's like it grew out of like some of the best weird old things of the internet. Thank you, Russell, for the super chat. I think the Dark Souls games are better constructed. I'll have to give those a shot too.
That's the Elden Ring is a Dark Souls game.
Okay, so it's the.
Okay, is this it? Halo Combat Evolved Master Chief Collection, all cutscenes.
Oh, nice. Thank
is
you,
that
Master
it?
Chief. Probably.
It's an hour and 12 minutes.
That sounds about right. Chris Topher, thank you for the super chat. Master Chief versus Margit fight is insane. You are gonna die.
Margit is the first boss in Elden Ring.
Nice. Lancer 737 said, "Don't forget all the live action Halo commercials." That is tight. Definitely Red vs. Blue though. Oh, Red vs. Blue is great. Although, I think they I think they might have censored it. Or people were worried they were gonna, when I first heard the words Master Chief, I've thought of a United States Navy rank. Correct. That's what it is. I myself am a nephew of late United States Navy sailor, one of my uncles. Hoo-yah! Yes, no, he is, UNSC is the, Space Navy, basically, in this universe. And that is his naval rank. He's Petty Officer Master Chief or something.
My grandpa was in the Navy.
In the Navy. You'll miss stuff said in between the missions. That's true, Zach Blackfire. But there's although if you'll miss a little bit, most of what's said in between is like get to here or go to there or do that thing. If it truly is all the cutscenes, there are cutscenes within the missions. So as long as those are included as well, you'll still get, you'll get the full story. But like I said, I think it's worth it. If you're going to do the cutscenes, I think it's worth it to just get the full experience because the world is beautiful and like going through it is really beautiful. So if you want,
I just want one that has, here's all cutscenes from game 1 and I can sit there and I can watch it. Here are all cutscenes from game 2. I can sit there and watch it.
Those do exist.
Yeah.
All right. Those do exist if you want to look those up. But
I will find them and I will watch them, just kind of like with SWOTOR, how they have all the cinematics.
Yeah.
You can just watch all the cinematics and it's like, this is awesome.
Yep. Yeah, that's basically, how that goes. Chief rides a bomb across a huge Space Navy battle and kicks it into a Covenant cruiser. Where are you going? To give the Covenant their bomb back. There's some great. My favorite line in a cutscene though is they keep saying the same thing over. Regret. I wonder what it means. Yeah, dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. We regret coming to Earth, and we certainly regret you blowing up our raggedy ass fleet. Hoorah! Anyway, I enjoy that. That is the sergeant from the second game who was already black in the game, so you don't need to go fucking race swapping bitches because there were.
Okay, so what happens in the second game?
The Covenant get to Earth, so you gotta fucking defend Earth. And then you also get to play a little bit as the Arbiter, which is this fun thing. So the Covenant developed this intense fear. They call him the Demon, the Master Chief. Is the demon, and they develop this huge fear of this unstoppable human weapon that they have, and they also pin the blame on the failures of Halo, on this one, the one elite Covenant member who was that's species of the elite, who was like the head of the army, and they invoke this ancient punishment, which is they make him the Arbiter. They strip him of all his armor, of all his normally elites have permanent camouflage, but he only gets a temporary one. It's how they justify it in the gameplay and blah. He's stripped of all his primary armor, all this fancy stuff, and he's sent on a mission to go kill the Master Chief, basically. But then he ends up.
That's who they think this girl is going to be.
Oh, that they turned the Arbiter into a chick?
That's what they think it's going to be, is that she's going to be that has to go fight Master Chief.
That's not even fun, because then it's like, oh, we're just going to engineer a super soldier to go fight the Master Chief, when this game is like, you're having these great dual stories where you feel bad for the Arbiter because you watch him get dragged in front of the council, you watch him disgraced, you watch him get tortured, and then you watch him get given the option of basically, I think, being killed essentially, or taking this suicide mission as the Arbiter. And he takes the mission and he's off on this thing, on this crusade, basically, to go kill the Master Chief. And it's like, holy shit. But then they end up teaming up, basically, because he's like, fuck, because the Master Chief, I think, tells him the truth about what the Halo rings are for and all that. And there's another Halo ring. And then, then there's Gravemind, who's like this weird, not flood, but the consciousness thing that's like, that gets weird. But it's cool. And so they end up teaming up, and then this ultimately, the truth about the ring and all that is what fractures the Covenant, and all that stuff. So, yeah, so like you actually have a story, like it's the Arbiter's coming at this from like a vengeance story, from a redemption arc. Like he's humanized in its own weird way, and it's actually very powerful to see the guys we learn to fear as one of the most powerful enemies from the first game, and to see them humanized and then to play as him. And of course, if you're playing as him, you're rooting for him. You learn that sympathy organically because you're playing through his fucking eyes. It doesn't make sense. And then let's inject some lesbian chicken blah as a representation piece, when we lose all the beautiful allegory you get from having a true other, a four-mandibled creature that learns to find the shared humanity. Yeah, the Gravemind forces, it's the Flood super brain. So it's like,
here, share my screen. Is this him? Is this the Arbiter?
Yep, that's the Arbiter. So he's got the energy sword. He's got the crappy old superpowered armor, crazy mandibles, all that.
He joins the humans.
Yes. So he ends up teaming up with the Master Chief, and then he ends up leading the rebellion with the other elites and some of the other Covenant. Arbiter is a great character alone.
So yeah, they're all assuming that the chick is going to be the Arbiter.
Oh god, that's so terrible. So you've gender swapped the Arbiter, basically. You've species swapped the Arbiter, for fuck's sake. Because we gotta see that we can identify with. I'm like, no, you're missing the point. The beauty of fantasy is show something you can't recognize anywhere around you and learn how to identify with that. That's the beauty of sci-fi. If you have to turn it into something you can physically, visually identify with, you've lost. You've already acknowledged the inability that you're not even asking your audience to bridge those gaps. You fucking lost. Chief and Arbiter are BFS. And that's the thing. We have to have this now, like, man protecting the little girl trope, which is not that progressive, by the way. That it seems to be the
she's going to be the one that teaches him.
Oh, yeah,
gives him his humanity back. So she's going to be teaching him how to be human again. Of course. And how to care.
Her, the one raised by the aliens who doesn't even know what the fuck it means to be human, is going
to. Oh, no, the other chick, Quan, is going to be the one that teaches
Quan will teach him his humanity. There you go. We're deprived of the Arbiter Master Chief buddy comedy that we're supposed to get. Lando, Go to your bowl. Lando. Wrong bowl. Jane, I know you want this.
Well, I'm learning a lot about Halo today.
Sorry, cats are being dumb. Yep. Andy McCallum says Gamers Little Playground will have all the cutscenes that you're looking for. Thank you.
Is that a channel?
I am assuming so. Oh, Russell says after you beat the next boss, Godric, you can awaken his great rune and then equip it, and it will give you +5 to all your stats.
Nice. Thanks, Russell.
Make a note. Lone Text in Halo 3 does have an amazing story. So it's really written like a trilogy where Halo 3 picks up kind of directly from 2 to finish it out. That's like the big rebellion, all that stuff. And so Gravemind is the master consciousness of the Flood. So it's like the intelligent version of the Flood, but like he's not a bad guy the same way the Flood is. And he is the one who brings the Master Chief and the Arbiter to work together. Maybe I think he just identifies the Covenant as the worst, or basically he tells them the truth about the prophets and stuff too, and I guess identifies the prophets as the biggest douchebags in the galaxy, even bigger douchebags than the Flood, which is why the Arbiter's like, oh shit, we do need to team up with you. Yeah, it's a good time. See, I am playing the game, bitch. Thanks, Russell. Don't call it.
Oh, I just remembered what was the last character that I wanted to cosplay as. It was Siri from The Witcher.
Wait, Russell, you called Anna a bitch, which is super sexist, and because you attacked her over her minority status as a woman, I now have the right to slap you on her behalf. So just wait, it's coming. That's how the Greymon was using him as tools. He was trying to, and then they just whatever. It's made by a lot of Flood forums joining as one. Thank you for the refresher, guys. It's been too long since I've played, obviously. I so wish Anna would dress up as any Power Ranger.
Not my thing. Maybe when I was a kid I would have.
There's a market for Power Rangers still. I mean,
there really is, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
it doesn't fit in video games or any of the other cosplays that are on my list.
Guys, if you want Anna to dress up as a Power Ranger, here's what you do. You start a GoFundMe and you make it the Anna Does a Poster as a Power Ranger fund, and you raise enough money and you send it to Anna and you say, here, this is me paying you to do as a job, as a contracted job to do this poster and then to sell it to people for money. But, obviously the people who paid you already can get one, and then you can still sell it to more people. And then somewhere out there, there will be an Anna Kimberly and everyone will be happy.
Anna Kimberly.
Yep. The Pink Ranger.
Right
as Zach Blackfire says, I'm only in if she does the Pink Ranger. So
I like yellow though. Yellow's my favorite color.
Too.
I did like the Pink Ranger when I was a kid because she had better action figures.
Weirdly
enough, I like yellow's my favorite color.
I was going to say, weirdly enough, I was picturing you in yellow because I was like, I think it just looks really good on you. That pops. I was thinking about like the Rogue cosplay and all the yellow on that. I'm like, yeah, that really worked for you. But Anna must cosplay as Master Chief. She's too tiny. Anna could cosplay if you got a big... if Jeff dressed up as the Master Chief, Anna could cosplay as Cortana and like actually sit on his shoulder like the hologram popping up there.
I actually am going to cosplay as Cortana though.
You could just ride around as Cortana like in the crook of his arm as if you're like the hologram popping up off his display.
That would be funny.
That would be hilarious. Oh my God. That would be so fucking funny. He wouldn't even get tired too. He'd just have to switch arms every couple of hours. Oh God.
I'm looking at like people that I can cosplay as that are video game characters. I'm looking at this one from Metal Gear. I can cosplay as What's Quiet. Do you want to see what she wears?
Yeah.
People would lose their minds if I did this one.
Yeah. You would make a lot of money.
I probably would.
You would make a lot of money. I think you should set that one as a reach one, as like a bonus super special unlock. And then
I don't know. Does anyone play Metal Gear?
Definitely people play. Also, you will make a lot of money. Macy, what's up? Hey, ladies, here and gone as always. I hope you saw my email the other day. I love that calendar. Gorgeous. Fabulous. Oh,
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I think I saw something about how you were disappointed that Alito was in October because that's your birth month. It's my birth month too, which is why I did Jaina Solo for October, because I'm like, that's Star Wars girl. Here's a character from Star Wars. That one like looked the most like me because of the dark hair and
yeah.
well, I mean they all look like me because it's me, but that one I'm like in my natural state when I'm not.
You transformed. You
changing.
really transformed in some of those, though. It's cool. Like, it's really neat to see that. I mean, that's part of the project. It's very neat.
Thank you.
It makes sense, though, because you're an artist, so you know how to, like, use yourself as a canvas, you know, and be like, oh, here's what I'm working with, and here's how to transform it. So, yeah.
Somebody said Anita Sarkeesian hates quiet, so do it. Oh, should I?
Ha! Ginger Vikings Jesus says Anna could cosplay as Carolina from RVB.
What is RVB?
Red vs. Blue.
Okay, let me Google.
That would be a Spartan cosplay, basically. So right, Carolina was one of the was Carolina was red, was blue. I don't remember.
She has blue, but she's got red hair.
Okay. Yeah.
She's a ginger, but she's in a blue suit.
Right, that's red hair, blue suit. I knew. I was like, that's why I was like, why can't I remember what she is? Well, okay, now I'm gone. Okay, now I'm gone. Thank you, Macy, and I'm glad that you accepted Anna's explanation. That all is well in the world. Russell, thank you for the super chat. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what Anna wears because somebody will just apply an X-ray filter over the photograph and post it on a porn site.
Yeah, Jesse, somebody took the time out of their life to deep fake my face onto porn.
Wow.
Okay, who's better, Quiet or Eve? Eve looks she's in like some kind of jumpsuit, but she's in a bikini.
I think if Anita Sarkeesian hates Quiet, that's excellent reason to do it. So,
well, Eve's blonde, and I'm kind of blonde right now, so I'm like, what would be easy? Why are all these chicks in bikinis? Like everyone from Metal Gear is in a bikini.
I mean, to piss off Anita Sarkeesian, thank God.
I know.
Fucking goodness.
Yeah, I can cosplay as Quiet.
Oh, so do you want to know when Mad Libs backfires on you horrifically?
Oh God, what happened?
When everyone wants to put in funny sex words and you wrote the history of cats.
Oh.
Yeah, it's now canon on this channel that furries were created when people started fucking cats in ugly Egypt. Not to be confused with regular Egypt. It's ugly Egypt. It's a thing. And thus the furry was born. Yep. That's now canon. These things happen on Mindless Entertainment. I don't know what to tell you. What? Oh, also Jada Pinkett Smith has a new nickname. It's Baldylocks.
It's what?
Baldylocks.
Oh no.
And Will Smith can hit me over that as many times as he fucking wants to. I don't give a shit. Jada says it's pretty good. The laser hair. I'm sorry. Lick it or my cuck will slap you. Says it's pretty good. The laser hair removal is working. Hooray.
I've never played Metal Gear, but this character sounds cool. She's like a superhuman with sniper. Let's see.
Hey, Gremlinton.
She can be captured by Venom Snake and eventually used as a member of the Diamond Dogs Mercy Group. Well, it's named after David Bowie stuff. So I mean,
oh, did YouTube ask you if you wanted to do a survey about how YouTube has affected your life and happiness and money and
yeah.
stuff? Did you do it?
No.
I was like, finally, I have never felt so seen by a YouTube survey. Let me tell you, it was like, do you feel like YouTube helps you do things? And I'm like, no. It's like, do you feel like YouTube helps you on other platforms? No. Does it inspire you to create? No. Are you generally inspired to create outside of YouTube? Yes, but not on YouTube. Correct. It was like, wait, we really want to know. Like, it's literally the survey that's like, tell me how you really feel. And I'm like, oh, I will. I fucking will. Please and thank you. And then at the end, it left a paragraph. It was like, please tell us a little more. And I'm like, you don't have the time to read my answer. You don't have the time. I might just go with the abridged version then. I might just be like, where do I start? Do I start where every time I try to create for YouTube, it feels like an abusive relationship? Or do I start with being gaslit every single time I try to talk to a YouTube person to get help? Oh, what sounds more fun?
I don't know. I pissed off my YouTube manager that was assigned to me, and he shadow banned my channel. So.
Oh, you have a YouTube manager?
Not anymore.
When did they assign you one? After 100K or after 200K?
No, it was like this 6-month program that they randomly selected channels that were that had, I guess, good interaction, high membership, and like the same viewer watch back stats and whatnot. And so I got assigned that. I don't know if it was him in particular, but I know I pissed off some of those people because I pointed out certain things. Also, I knew more about YouTube than any of them because all of them were like in their early 20s, and it was very obvious that they just got randomly a job and they had to like help with morale, but they had no answers to anything, and they were all reading scripts. And so anytime I would have to do these YouTube meetings with like other YouTubers who all had like 1 million+ subscribers, and I would be the one answering all the questions because I was the only one that knew anything.
That's so funny, dude, because 17 Live does talent managers like that, but it's like I don't know what the reason, like when they give them to you or what the threshold is. I think they do it for a lot of their contracted streamers, but I got one, and like my first, it was actually really funny. My first one was I never even like properly met with him because he just misgendered me 1,000 times in all of our emails beforehand.
He
and
called
like,
you dude?
Yeah, he was like, "Can't we talk to you, brother?" And I was like, "I'm not your brother." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm a girl." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then like we had another email exchange, a separate one, and he was like, "All right, dude," or like, "Bro," or something like that. Like, call me he again. And I was like, we just had the conversation in another thread about how I'm not a chick. And then, and then he wanted to get all like, oh, come on, chill out. I think you're blowing this up more than it needs to be. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with a sensitivity issue about being misgendered. This is about the fact that you're supposed to be my talent manager. And so
you can't even remember that I'm a girl.
And you haven't even looked at my channel enough to notice my fucking gender. And so I complained to 17 Live, just like very nicely. I just basically wrote up, I was like, I don't think I really want this guy because I don't. At first I said too, I was like, I don't know what this talent manager situation is, but I don't want anyone taking my money. And they're like, yeah, no, that's not how it works. You know, almost every other platform where they're like, do you want to sign up for this manager? They will take 10% of your income at least. This is like, no, it's like that. It's like free mentorship basically, but it's so I bitched about this guy and just very lightly. And I didn't even say like anything really shitty about him. I was just like, look, I just don't want to work with him because obviously he doesn't care about me enough to even learn who I am. He's not a talent manager there anymore. Like he's just not on that list of the, like, you can see the list of who they are because every time you submit streamer content, you check off who your talent manager is. But yeah, so then they gave me to another chick who was super cool. But then she got promoted in the company because all of their talent managers are hired as former streamers. They're onboarded, they're trained. Most of them have backgrounds in other, professional pursuits. Some of them have actual, experience as agents, as managers. And so mine got promoted in the company. And so I got a new one from that. This chick, we meet every couple of weeks. I'm actually really sad I have to email her and be like, I can't do our meeting tomorrow because I'll be in Texas. By the way, guys, Texas, Friday, April 1st, this Friday, if you're anywhere in the Dallas area, Serious Pizza at 7 p.m. We will be there. Come hang out, have a drink, have a slice. That's where the bullshitters and I will be. Half of the bullshitters and I will be Serious Pizza, 7 p.m., Dallas, Texas. Anyway, so yeah, so me and this chick though, like seriously, every couple of weeks we just have a meeting where like we bullshit, we spitball ideas. She like, I was asking her last time, I'm like, okay, so what's acceptable now in terms of like weed and shit? And she's like, yeah, you can totally smoke up on your stream. And I was like, I've been doing this stuff where I'll lean off screen to do it and that. And her idea, she was like, you should put a puppet on your shoulder. So every time you lean off screen to take a hit, you have like a puppet you sitting there. And I was like, I'm going to do this with my tofu. I'm like, this is my fucking manager. She's doing that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do a party where I'm going to like have people pay me to drink. And she's like, yes, absolutely do that. That's a great idea. I will make sure that the bosses recommend your stream of you drinking. I'm like, that's the shit I get on my app. I'm like, that's awesome. Dude, I love it. I just love hearing that YouTube is like trying the things that are working for other people and still failing at it. Oh.
Well, I mean, it's because nobody has any kind of power, and so the people that like you have to talk to are like grunts, and they have no actual power.
Dude, one of the other talent managers on this app is the community leader for the US market right now. He runs the all the orientation streams and stuff. I was talking to him not that long ago. He was the one who was personally responsible for getting 17 Live to ease up on its restrictions and lets you drink on camera now and lets you talk about weed and stuff. You still can't show it on camera, but you're allowed to talk about it on camera, on streams and stuff now. Yeah, that's how much he had. He was just a streamer on the app that 17 Live was like, hey, do you want to become a manager on the app? Do you want to work for us, basically? And his input has changed our community standards for the better in the few months, in less than a year, that I've been here. So yeah. Oh, God, if you guys are intrigued more about this other platform, 17 Live, that I'm on, my link is in the link tree for that. Also, I am putting out a video. I think it's going to come up Monday. I just recorded it earlier today, but I think it's coming out Monday. It's going to tell you guys a little bit more about if you're interested in making money from streaming. I give you some basic things that you can take to any platform if you want. But also, if you're interested in doing it on 17 Live, I am going to be running an onboarding session over the next month for anybody who wants to learn a little more, who wants to jump in with a team of other newbie streamers who are all going to be there as part of the community to help you out. And as an added bonus, there is a really easy way that just requires you to put in 20 hours of work and you get $50 automatically. So there you go. So if you want to learn more about that, make sure you check out the video when it happens at the end.
Just killed a baby spider.
Aw, poor spider. Because yeah, I love this app. I really think you should try it out for your drawing stuff, because you'd be a star.
I don't have time. Like I haven't streamed painting in like a month. I don't have time.
Well,
I don't have time to do my own stuff. I haven't made a video.
Yeah.
I've only done live streams, mostly on other people's channels. I don't have time for anything until this calendar gets out.
Well, when you do have time to do painting streams again, we'll talk. Because I'll help you make that money. But yeah, Andy's gonna come on with me. I think I have like 10 people already who want to do this. So that's fucking awesome. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Anyway. Words, things, borings. I had something less boring to say, but now I don't remember what I just got off on my whole thing about everyone's sucking. Good thing I love about Dallas, it's the jingle capital of the world. I did not know that. What's 17 Live's stance on naked yoga? So I guess 17 Live's big problem when it launched was that like people were using it as a hookup app. Weirdly enough, so they really wanted people to get away from the idea that this was like to meet people for that reason. So also it is a Japanese company, so they don't really want to see your titties. Now scantily clad yoga is a different story, and swimsuits are cool as long as you're nearby a body of water that justifies it. So yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can get away with a lot of shit on there, though. I mean, I do a weekly stream called Comfy Bitches. It's just me and my friend Hadas. We come and we watch movies and we just talk over them. So
yeah, you need to watch The Hills Have Eyes.
Maybe.
No, I already said it. You have to watch The Hills Have Eyes.
I will. I'll put it on the list. That is not one of Hadas's only vetoed human centipede. So
okay, good.
There you go. So we can do that whenever. Yeah. Oh, wait. I just want to show you the coolest thing this is actually the coolest part about this app is the swag. So my team won the live stream football league. You've heard me talk about that earlier in this month and stuff. I finally got the swag. Yes, these are pieces of sushi on the back of my sweatshirt. So all the teams were given colors and we were team salmon.
Oh.
We won. So here's our branded, and I got double swag because they fucked up. We were just supposed to get these custom hoodies, but they accidentally also sent us all the regular white 17 Live hoodie that was the original prize, and so they still sent us both. So I got 2 hoodies out of it. So we got these custom Team Salmon hoodies. This is our team captain made this graphic. This has all the leagues on the side that were participating. A league as a whole 17 Live. Anyway, my favorite part of this hoodie, though, by far, is our team slogan.
We're better.
Yep. We are. That's why we won. We really were, too, though, because it really was a situation where, like, Team Coral were kind of a little uppity about, like, wanting to win and, like, telling each other, like, giving each other quotas. Like, you have to give at least 50,000 coins to other team members in order to stay on the team. And we were like, you just have to eat salmon. Just like buy salmon and eat it and eat more salmon. And that's all Team Salmon requires of you. And we fucking won. So there you go. Oh my God. The main event should not be censored. Well, I mean, there are a couple of sites that are dedicated specifically to those pursuits, Russell. I highly recommend that you take your naked yoga to those. Pseudonym says, hi, Jesse. Our timing is off. This time I'm the one that's baked. What do you mean, Pseudonym? I'm stoned all the time.
I don't know what she's doing.
Hashtag free the main event. I'm assuming titties are the main event in Russell's mind. I mean, that makes sense. Thank you, Donnie Pearson. I think so. I'm very, very proud of my Team Salmon hoodie. Andy McCallum is partially responsible for helping me win it. So, you know, he's a great supporter over on 17 Live. It was nice. Thank you, Pseudonym. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Can you stream video games on 17 Live? I'm so glad you asked, Shadow Master. 17 Live is becoming a huge platform for gamers. It is really conducive to long streams because you have an achievement score that goes up and it will just naturally go up the longer you stream. So even if nobody is watching, nobody is engaging, you're getting no metrics, your achievement score will continue to grow if you are just sitting there gaming for a gajillion hours. And at some point, it will go high enough that it will pull people. You will rise enough on the page that it will pull people into your stream. So if you know how to do an OBS setup, you are golden. I'm going to test around and see if using the stream key works with StreamYard. I think it should. I think you just need the stream key for it, and it should be totally fine. Yeah. So that's all going to come in the big Q&A next month in about a week or two. So what? I'm sorry. Wait. Oh, or you did the hoo-ha. I'm sorry. You were talking about the hoo-ha. You said naked. I kept thinking titties out yoga and blah. You were talking about full naked yoga. The hoo-ha. I'm sorry. You wanted the hoo-ha, Russell. Titties are not the main event. I'm sorry. You're right, Russell. You're a man, not a boy. I was having this discussion earlier. Men who, if you take the evolutionary biology stance, men who like big tits are less masculine, manly than men who like big butts or like, wide hips and stuff like that. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure this is a pyramid scheme. It's not, Christopher. It's an employment opportunity. It requires you to put in the work. I say you still have the 5 things. You got to be good at streaming. And there are 5 things you need to do to be good at streaming. And I'll see if you agree with my list. You have to be good at what you do. You got to, whatever you're doing, you have to do it well. You have to be authentic doing it, entertaining doing it, all that stuff. You have to have a decent enough setup. At the very minimum, you need light that shows whatever you're trying to show without blowing it out, and sound that's not too shitty. You need the right camera energy. You need to know how you see and actually look in your frame on camera. You need to put in the hours, put in the work in front of the camera and behind the camera, preparing, studying, your niche, studying how to get ahead, and you got to be consistent. If you're putting shit out, the best way to continuously build an audience is to always put things out at the same time, which is why we all get so angry when our lives stop us from being able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this, and this is what I've told everyone whenever they ask me for advice when it comes to like making a YouTube channel, or I guess, well, nobody ever really asked me about streaming because that really that's part of the YouTube or doing something online. I would say do something that you can talk about for 10 hours without losing, something, or without running out of topics. So it's like, my topic is that Star Wars girl. So I could talk about Star Wars for 10 hours and not, have any issues, right? I'm not going to make a channel about American football because I can't talk about American football for 5 minutes, let alone an hour, let alone 10, because you never know how long these streams are going to be. So if you can talk about something confidently and you have enough, knowledge on it and passion, and you love that thing, and you can talk about it for 10 hours, then that's what, you should do. That's what you should talk about. And if you ever stuck on that, like, well, what should I do? It's like, well, I want to do comedy. It's like, well, are you funny? Oh, you're not funny, but you know a lot about comedy. You know every single comedian ever. You know where they performed, what albums had the best ratings and stuff. You might not necessarily be funny, but might be an expert on comedians and comedy. Yeah. So maybe you're an expert on the Beatles. Maybe you're an expert on wrestlers, something like that. Everyone has like a hidden talent that you're better at than other people. And so if you know everything there is to know about Mission Impossible, like the entire world of Mission Impossible, and the movies, I don't know if there's books or comics, I don't know, because I don't know shit about Mission Impossible except that I find them very boring, which is Jesse's chagrin.
Breaking my heart.
If that's what you're an expert in, then talk about it, because you're obviously passionate about it. And then
I want to watch
have
Mission
a professional
Sorry.
Have a professional setup. And because every video, every stream is somebody's first video, is somebody's first stream of yours. So have a professional layout. You might not necessarily have a lot of subscribers or a lot of views, but guess what? Someday down the road, what if the first video that they see of yours is from like a 3-year-old video, but it's professional looking. And so it might not have very many views, but it's professional. And so like, you're not, if you don't have a good like a backdrop or a good camera or good lighting, then do it like Yellow Flash and Tug do and stay anonymous, have like an avatar, have a cool name, and have something that's easy to remember.
Yep.
Too. That's like catchy. Not like my art channel that it's got the worst name ever that I need to like figure out how to readjust that. But you can just be an online persona. And there's plenty of people that are just online personas. Like, look, Mahler, right? He's literally just an icon. There are pictures, and like, I think he was on stream like once, so you know what he looks like, but it's a Gundam, right? He has a character. And even though it's his personality, he has an online persona. So if you're not comfortable in front of the camera, if you don't have a good setup, you can do that. And it's much cheaper than being on camera. True. And it's, let's say, I don't know, that video game Halo that I was just talking about. I don't know shit about Halo. And guess what? There's a million people out there like me that don't know shit about Halo, but a Halo TV show just came out. If you're an expert on Halo, then make a video explaining everything that I just asked questions on, yep. Right? And there'll be people like me that don't know any of this that are going to Google, who is this in Halo? What is that? Why did this happen? And your video will pop up. And people that don't know anything, that are just learning about it right now, are going to find it. So I think right now every day is a great day to just start. But if you have knowledge that you think other people might find useful, then hit record and start. Just start.
Yeah. Christopher, this is the only thing I talk about for 10 hours straight is Jack Show trivia. If you started a panel that wanted to do, like on Fridays, y'all got
Chris Topper, if you did Jack Show trivia, that would be great.
I'm just saying, if you did that, if you did like the Friday wrap, Friday, oh, let's catch up on the Jack show. What did you miss? Do the highlights reel, run a trivia, all that. I'm just saying, Matt G sends in super chats on Shenanigans every week with some of the highlight quotes from the Jack show. So there's clearly a market for this. I'm just saying, strike while the iron's hot. No one's done it yet. Highly recommend. Okay, so we've got some super chats. I heard somebody's Fifi, so we'll get to that one in just a second. Andy McCallum, FNT, Friday Night Titties. There's your porn version right there. Russell Hall, thank you. Hashtag Nook in Japan again. Hashtag free the main event. All right, free the hoo-has. Liberate the hoo-has. Is there a word that means free that starts with H? Oh, you misunderstand, Patrick T. Dog the Bounty Hunter is effeminate. No. When I say less manly, I don't mean, more feminine. I mean more boyish. What I mean by an evolutionary biology standpoint, this is clearly the point that you missed, right? Evolutionary biology, right? If you're into titties, okay, well, what do titties remind you? When do people like and need titties? When they're babies, when they need milk from their mommies, when they need their mommy to, cling on to and to protect them. And then when they become men, when they grow up and they're ready to be men and be the protector, they want women with the big hips because those are the women that will be the best choice to procreate with. And so when they are ready to be strong on their own, they desire those type of women. And actually, there's a lot of men who will trace that as, I started out as a boob guy, and then later on in my life, I became an ass man. And that's probably why. So I'm just saying, guys who are tits guys who are like, oh, about the big titties, that's cool. But, they just haven't grown up yet. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. And there's also and there's an aesthetic where there's an aesthetic to titties where people love titties no matter. I'm not saying that everybody who loves titties is that. I'm just saying when you have the ones who are like, I'm only boobs. I don't care about an ass. I'm talking about that kind of thing. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway. Take care, Donnie Pearson. That's all I'm saying, and you can be offended, because I probably just called you immature and it's probably true, and that's okay. It's not a problem. Look, I am very immature all the time. It's only a judgment if you let it be a judgment. So, or you could slap me in the face because I hurt your fifis, and that's okay. That's allowed now. Nomad 0036, thank you for the super chat. Yes, I did hear this too. They being the writers admitted to never play of the show. Admitted to never playing the Halo games.
Well, I guess that's not what happened. I guess they went to some Halo boot camp and they didn't play the games at the boot camp. Not that they've never played the games. It's that they basically focused on the books and other aspects of it, and they didn't have time to play the games. Because they might have already played it. I don't know. I guess it's one of those quotes that they got taken out of context and blown up.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I can understand that. Yeah. No, I don't like that. That's the world we live in. There's actually a really interesting example, and I think it just shows you how wrong everything is on every front. Everything is wrong. Not trying to keep this out of the politics because I think that it's just. You've probably heard about the Supreme Court thing. The woman that they're trying to confirm for the Supreme Court.
Yeah, Peaches has been watching it, and I'm just what's bothering me about her, I'm this is one of my biggest pet peeves, is when somebody asks you a yes or no question and you can't answer it. And that's her to a fucking T. I'm it's yes or, and it's been driving me crazy because you know how much I hate all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm this isn't even a political question. It's a yes or no fucking question. Just answer the question. I've been wanting to pull my hair out.
Classic politician, though. You're.
It's so. I'm just say yes or no. It's yes or no. And I'm sitting there packaging calendars, and I'm it's yes or no, bitch. Just say yes or no.
Oh, dude, I feel that. I hate that. That shit drives me crazy. But of course, the big gotcha moment everyone's talking about is when a Republican asked her the question, how would you define a woman? And she responded.
Oh, that is so. I'm not a biologist. It's you have a vagina, right?
So here's the thing.
That's one aspect of it.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that no one wants to talk about is that put yourself in her shoes. What's she actually supposed to do when she's asked this question? Because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
I have an answer for that. That wouldn't have pissed anyone off, but
I think I think that there's a more politic answer where she could have taken a better stand, still and still taken a moderate stand. I think she chose to politic out, but that's pretty much par for the course for all her other answers. Like,
well, she didn't even politic out; she tarted herself out. Like, I'm not a biologist. Really, all she had to say was,
if you read the full context of the answer, I actually think it was very politic. It was like, look, you're asking me. It was basically not like, I can't define it because I'm not a biologist. It's, why should I have to define this? I'm not a biologist. That's not my job to define this. If being a woman was in some way relevant to a case I had to rule on, then I would consider it. I would consider what it meant to be a woman. But in the context of my job, the fuck does it matter? You're not interviewing me for a biology position. You're interviewing me to be a judge, was the impression that I got based on the text of the answer. So that's the question of the real one. It's just a step back, right? So what would have been your answer that wouldn't have pissed everyone off? Actually, I'm very curious.
Well, I mean, it's the difference between what your sex is versus what your gender is, and that's what they get into. That's what a lot of people get into debates about. So if you really wanted to get down into it, it's like, yeah, you can say that you identify as a woman, and then that comes from the perception of society, because I mean, you could be walking down the street and have a conversation with somebody that you think is a woman or that's a man, but surgery has gotten so advanced, and there's so many kind of, just things in the beauty industry that you can literally see someone that you think is a biological female and they're not. So, like, if people that don't know who, well, this is not my eloquent answer, but this is for somebody that doesn't know who Blair White is, right? If you see Blair White walking down the street, it's like, oh, that's just like a really tall chick, right? Like you don't assume that that's a dude.
Yeah.
At least from everything I've seen from Blair White, because I've never seen her in person, it's like you would think that that's a woman. And if you're a man talking to someone, like if there was like an altercation or something and they're going to court for something, and he's like, well, I thought she was a chick, right? And something like that. Like, okay, so that's where it comes into play. But when it comes into like them asking her, well, what is a woman? It's like, well, that goes down to the very core of like, if you're asking me what is a woman and, gender based on, what society has deemed what is masculine versus feminine, or are you talking about biological sex, which is an XX chromosome or an XY chromosome? And I would have thrown the question back at the person, right? You twist it around so that way they have to define it to the very like nitty gritty, and you go even further and even further. And if you're in a position like that, the way that you get into a debate with somebody is you have to throw it back at them. If they're trying to trap you, you have to turn the question back around on them.
I don't think that works in this situation. I don't think that there is a world where you can answer that question unscathed. I don't think that there's a world where you can. I think that's, again, the purpose of that. And that's also, like, honestly, the way I would have answered that question is very much like the way Quentin Tarantino answered that question a while ago. I would have been like, this is a bad faith question. You are only asking me this question so you can pull a soundbite to try to make me look bad later. Fuck you. That's how I'd have answered that question. I'd be like, why?
Well, I mean, in that situation, because it was a woman asking her about the Leah Thompson swimming thing. I mean, and like having trans women in female sports, which in my opinion with that, it's like, okay, if when she was a man, she was like listed like 400 and like what, 26. And now that she's transitioned to female, she's the #1 female athlete for swimming. Yeah, and it's like, okay, that's the problem I have. Well, see, in my case, it would be like, all right, well, either there's so many trans athletes now that there's enough to make their own league, which is what I would say, which is a good thing, right? There's enough trans athletes that are out, that are open, that are confident enough, and they feel safe enough to come out and, be open with the world that they're trans. So we need to make their own league for them, right? Because they get their own bathrooms. Why can't they have their own sporting league, right?
I think the solution is just, it's purely empirical. It's purely empirical.
Well, also, Jesse, remember when we were kids and it was like a big push? Let's get a girl on the football team. Yep. Why aren't there any women on the boys baseball team? It's like, all right, well, finally, we now have enough women that are, at the level of male players. So why don't we let that woman onto the NFL, an NFL team, right? She's a woman, right? We can have the first woman in the NFL. Oh, she doesn't meet the bar of the NFL. Oh, that's funny how that works, right?
So that's my thing. I think all male sports should allow women to participate if they can meet the same requirements, if they are good enough. They have to go through the same trials, the same things, no special rules, no special. I've always thought that. I've thought always male sports, because if that's the truth, if that's the truth we want to live under, test the truth and to the test. And I believe that that's the case. In almost every situation, when it comes to a physical contest, the men are going to have a distinct advantage, and very, very few women, but some, will be able to challenge those men at those top levels. And if those women who are at the peak of their game would rather challenge men who have a better odds of beating them than remain at the peak, of their women's events, then they should have that right to go tackle that larger challenge. They've accomplished. I mean, there you have it. You have some women athletes, who they've been sitting at the top for so long. It's like, what is there left to do except go challenge the men? So great, let them go do that. And
Exactly.
then you solve the problem right there instantly. You don't even have to worry about deciding or defining whether a trans man is a woman or not, because women are allowed to compete, so it's fine.
You mean trans woman? Trans man is a woman that transitioned to a man.
Yes,
but
that's what I mean. No, that is what I meant to say.
Well, what the problem will be, though, is that those women don't want to compete with the men because they want to be part of the girls' team. But in my case, I would say, well, then every single girl has to agree. But remember, there's a different. There's JV and then there's varsity, right? So if you're a freshman and you get upgraded to varsity, it's because you're a good player.
Yes, I was trying. Yes, I just wanted to finish. There's a whole. Never mind. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
No, because I just had a whole. It wasn't just a piece. I had the whole kind of piece of like how I would do it, but it doesn't matter.
No, you can finish your point. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter. No one cares.
No, finish your point. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you.
It's okay. I don't care. Russell came up with deliver the hoo-ha. # deliver the hoo-ha. That's good. I use hemorrhaging from the hoo-ha when I'm on my period. I think hemorrhaging from the hoo-ha has that nice ring to it. But in your case, deliver the hoo-ha. That sounds about as epic as a vagina deserves. So Andy, thank you for the super chat. Dog the Bounty Hunter looks like he was crossbred with a bodybuilder and a Yorkshire Terrier. Yeah, honestly, the people who want to walk around like pumping themselves up as the most hyper masculine, are not. I'm sorry if you need to try to convince me that much that you're. I'm like, yeah, Dog the Bounty Hunter is someone I would peg. It's probably like, I don't know, secretly likes watching something really stupid like ballet or something retarded like that. I don't fucking know.
He's funny. I like Dog Bounty Hunter.
Oh no, he is. He's absolutely. But I'm just like, some of these people, these hunky like thuggy dudes that we're supposed to think of as like the pinnacle of masculinity. I'm like, I still don't. But see, this is what I mean. Russell says, whoa, hot take, Anna. # not all women have JJs. That's what I'm saying about the answer to the question. You cannot win in this situation because there is one side of the fence that will only accept the answer. A woman has a vagina. A woman is born with a vagina, full stop, end, period. And that is the only answer they will accept. And then there is another complete opposite side that will only accept an answer that allows room for a transgender person. And so you're stuck in this. You're stuck in this you can't win, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it's like, that's what we're living in politically, though. It's like, why are you asking these questions? Why are you bringing up this specific thing? Well, because it's a case, and it's a case you might have to reasonably decide. But why are the most important things? Why are the things determining whether our justices are qualified or not, or whether they're determining our social issues? Because realistically, at the end of the day, as much as it is important to make sure that our sports are fair and make sure that they don't get fucked around with in these ways, these are also not the most pressing decisions that a Supreme Court justice needs to be making. And the fact that we're all fucking hung up on wanting to catch them in these gotcha answers and little definitions so we can prove which side is socially, morally more just and right, that's where I have the problem. And the fact that this was the one that got a lot of people, where a lot of people really wanted to jump on the train of, but fuck you, dumbass, because, you should be able to define a woman. And that's where I'm like, but it's not really about whether she can define it or not. It's about the bigger problem. Jeff said it. The bigger problem, we're living in a world where we even have to approach a question like this with this level of delicacy because there's this much ire and fire and anger on both sides of it. And yeah, I think Russell's parody right there was the perfect highlight of that. Thank you, Russell, for being on point. All right, lick it or my cuck will slap you. Should men and women share the same locker room? Hot take: in a sporting context, yes. If you cannot be professional in that context, why are you in that situation? I'm sorry.
Is it bad that I'm just like a creep and I'm like, kind of want to see?
Right? I'm like, dude, let me check it out. Honestly, look.
Wait, what kind of teams? Are we talking about like sumo? Because if we're talking about sumo wrestling, then I'm not interested. But if we're talking about,
Exactly.
I don't know, like soccer and baseball and stuff, I'm kind of interested.
Right? I honestly, I mean,
I changed in the bathroom regardless. When I played water polo, we all went into like the bathroom stalls and we changed. We weren't like getting naked in front of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been in a locker room where girls would just get completely naked. It's like, yeah, you're in your undies at the least amount of clothing you were in your undies, which I mean, everyone has a bra and undies, right?
The thing, though,
and there's ways to change where you're not getting complete. Like you can put your PE shirt or your jersey over, and then you take your other shirt off underneath, right?
Yeah.
Or you could just show up in your whatever you're gonna go play in.
Or you could just whip it out, you know? I'm just saying.
Or you could. I don't know. I mean, when I was in school playing sports, I didn't know any girls that would do that. But then we played a team and they were all just butt naked walking around. I'm like,
I'm just saying, my friend Bill moved in with me when he moved to LA, and he lived in my studio apartment with me for 3 months. And I was like, look, bro, I walk around naked a lot. I'm just letting you know that there's nothing ever going to happen. We're never going to bang, but I'm going to walk around naked because this is my home. And he was like, cool. And like 3 days in, he looked at me while I was sitting on my bed, butt ass naked. And he was like, Jesse, I never thought it would be possible to hang out with a naked woman and have it be completely non-sexual, but you've proven me wrong. It's all about the fucking context. You know, if you're not an asshole, if you don't suck at being a human being, men and women can be naked around each other without a problem. If you're a consummate professional, it shouldn't be a fucking issue, but and that's too much to expect. I also locker rooms, the way that they're designed too. Not a dig at all. Not MC. At any point, if I had turned to Bill and been like, so do you want to fuck? He would have been like, oh my God, is this really happening? Hooray. No, he just it wasn't a dig at all. It was just like, there's a difference between like, I'm naked, oh my God, and like literally I'm just making, like cooking or like working on my computer or like patting my cat. I'm just fucking naked, you know? Also, like in locker rooms, there are alcoves and sections and twists and turns. So if it's a fucking thing, you set up. Sorry. I thought you were really concerned for my. I thought you were actually concerned for my esteem, not see. Jeez. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it would be that hard to, you know, keep them that separate in any way. Hannah, you would never strip in front of the guys. No, you say that, but you don't know.
I mean, it depends on what guys. Because I mean, if Peaches and I were on a tennis team together, I mean, I would do it in front of him, right? If Henry Cavill and I were on a wrestling team, I mean, I might show off a little bit. I might flex my feminine wiles, right?
Maybe. Lick it or my cuck will slap you, says everybody has a tushy. Man Squatch says, why do you think there's so many people who are unwilling to accept trans women instead of women?
What do you mean?
I mean, loaded question. As like, why are people not accepting trans? Like, why do people? Is that such a hot button issue? I actually think I do think it is. I do think it's interesting though that there is a bigger question around the issue of trans women than there is about trans men, and I think it's
because women that transition to men will never be able to compete with a natural born man.
Well, that I think is where it's coming to a head now, and where the animosity comes. There are other reasons too. I think there is the factor too, where it's like men have a much deeper fear of being catfished than women. Like that is a fear a man has, is like finding out that the chick they're hitting on has a dick, and so it like preys on that fear, and then So there's that element as well, I think. But yeah, I think when it's coming to a head with this trans woman swimming issue, because we're now getting to the point where like we're really proudly wanting to award trans women with first woman to do this award, first woman to do that award. I actually feel very strongly that if you are a trans woman and you're the first woman to do something, your award should specifically only be for the first trans woman to do it, because otherwise, without any regulation, with us just taking the approach of, well, we need to make sure trans women feel it's accepted and having no regulation, and the world we end up in is one where trans women ultimately take all of the athletic titles that formerly belonged to it and set records in women's events that biological women will never be able to reach. And so then what you have is a situation where women are now just pushed out of professional sports, kind of like they always used to be when, it was a male dominated world and nobody cared about women's sports. Like women's sports are still considered a joke by comparison. Like we are still doing the work of like trying to convince people that the WNBA isn't a joke, because it fucking is. And it's like, that's where we're at with women's sports. We're still regarding them as lesser than their male counterparts. And now we're trying to introduce people who have a biological advantage from being born male back into that sport to then take titles away from people who still haven't even had the chance to earn them for the first time. I mean, we're still running narratives at the Olympics. The first Black woman to do this, the first Native American woman to do this, the first that. Like, we haven't even checked all our minority boxes for biological women, and now we want to hand the prize out to somebody who does unassailably have that advantage. And that's where I think it just becomes an empirical solution. You can go down the list of sports and you can assess very simply whether the differences in your sex give you a marketable advantage in one sport or another. There are some unequivocally, running, swimming, where that's just going to be the case. There are other ones, like something like wrestling, where you could put in other restrictions, hormones for a certain number of years, post-op, whatever, and a certain percentage body fat by weight class to balance the scales. Something like that would empirically make it fair. Other sports like mine, fencing, for example, because of the nature of the sport, you aren't de facto going to be the best as a trans woman in fencing. Like, I have a really, really great friend who's a trans fencer, and I actually didn't even realize she was trans when I first met her, but she wasn't that great when I first met her either. And she has worked her ass off, trained, over the span of many, many years, like many other women do, to make her way onto a veteran women's team, which is over 40s and 50s, etc., or over 50s. And so that's a situation where, like, okay, if you've met the requirements of transitioning, whatever the, requirements are to have that shit changed on your birth certificate or whatever, then fencing is a sport where, you're not going to have those same advantages. So I think you just go sport by sport and you just say, okay, one's like boxing, something like that. No, you just can't ever allow that crossover, because you're talking about, like, wrestling is one thing, grappling, boxing is striking. You can't allow somebody who has the biceps and the ability to develop biceps the way a man does throw a punch at a woman's bone structure. That's just not safe. There's no universe in which a woman can ever beat herself up to throw the same level of punch. That just becomes fucking safety. So I think you can just take it case by case and just do it empirically. Why do there have to be fifis involved at all? If it's fair, it's fair. If it's not fair, it's not fair. You're right. Fencing is different, which I'm advocating it for that. But in something like swimming or running, where just your bone structure, you can't change that no matter how many hormones you take or how many surgeries you undergo. If bone structure means designed to be superior at a sport in a way that nothing will ever level the playing field to your truly female, or gonna get canceled for saying truly female, to your biologically female counterparts, then then no, then you can't cross over. You just fucking can't. There has to be a threshold. But guess what? Who gives a shit? Because you can go compete against the men and do the same. Like, why, as an Olympian, as a world champion, as somebody competing at the highest level in your sport, why would you want to get the medal knowing that you only got it because you were against people that you had an advantage over? I mean, what's the difference then between popping over to the Paralympics then and doing it in that regard?
The Paralympics? What's the Paralympics?
Paralyzed.
Paralyzed.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you, yeah, it happened in MMA, says Zach Blackfire. The woman cracked the other woman's skull. And I mean, like, it's, isn't a trans woman fencer going to have a longer reach? How would that be fair? Oh, Karth Onasi. Okay. So first of all, lots of people have Ivan Lee has a way longer wingspan than any other buddy ever, and proportionately, like, he's a gorilla. His arms are longer than his legs, which is the reason he became an Olympian. He's not barred from competing because he has that advantage. That's not a male female advantage. You could have
that my arms are longer than my legs.
I believe that. Also, reach can be like, I teach a short fencer. Like, my student is turning heads. She's an 11-year-old competing 2 age classes above herself and turning heads. I'm not the only person who thinks she's going to go to the Olympics. And she is a head shorter than all the other competitors. So reach is not a factor there. It's not automatically. There's nothing in fencing. Yes, you can have advantages from that, but the advantages you get from any one thing, like just being physically better, you can erase those advantages in fencing by being smarter. By being faster, quicker with your fingers. Finger speed is not really that related to your bicep strength. So that's very different from something like boxing, where, again, being able to be athletic in fencing is only one part of being able to be good at fencing. Being able to be really strong is kind of a core key component of boxing. And if you can knock someone the fuck out every fucking time because you were born a dude and she was born a chick, that just becomes a safety issue. If you're talking about, you can run faster because your legs are longer and you can build muscle and get rid of fat faster. And so you can set records that a biological female can never even touch. At some point, it becomes sexist to the women. At some point it does. But in a world where you balance it all empirically, no, whose fifis have to be hurt? Because the trans women, that's the thing. That's why I said earlier, like, if you just open it up so that the men's side is women can compete, then there's no questions, because trans men will compete with the men because they have chosen to identify as men. Therefore, they have chosen to disqualify themselves from competing with the women. Therefore, they're competing against the men because they, identify as that. Women can choose to compete against men because that's, they can choose that they think that they're, capable enough to do that. And then trans women end up in the situation where if their sport allows it and they've satisfied the conditions, they can compete as a woman. And if the conditions of the sport don't allow for it, safety, whatever, fairness, then they still can compete in the men's events, because guess what? The men's events allow women in it too. And then everybody gets to do everything that they want to do, and it's fair empirically. And then nobody even has to worry about whose identity is what. Because everybody who has an unfair advantage to the point where they shouldn't compete in the women's events are going to compete in the men's events. Everybody who wants to compete in the men's events because they think they're badass enough to do so gets to compete in the men's events. And only people who biologically are evenly matched can compete in the women's events. And everybody still gets to identify however the fuck they want to. That's my solution. I think that makes sense, and that everybody wins. Literally everybody. Everyone gets to identify whatever ridiculous way they want to identify. Everyone gets to be the person they want to be, and the regulations make it so that it is fucking fair. I
would just say no human can compete with a Vulcan as far as strength, no matter how much you work out, because Vulcans are, as a species, physically stronger than a human. You can get the weakest Vulcan and they will still be stronger than a human. Same with the Klingon. So you wouldn't have, unless you're in an interspecies competition where you know that you're going up against a Vulcan or a Klingon, and you, I don't know, maybe are given some stimulant to keep up with the Vulcan or the Klingon, you're not going to be able to, right? And so that, I mean, yeah, I know this is a fantasy type of, and they're not real. Well, they're not real. They're real to me. They're not real species, right? But you wouldn't put a human in a Vulcan category, right? So that's why I think there should be their own team. I think that there should be their own categories, their own teams. And this is the trans woman's team. This is the trans man team. And I would think, considering the all the fucking temper tantrums that they threw over having a bathroom, I think it's ironic that they're not doing the same thing to have a team, right? But it's specifically because, oh, well, it's because you can break all these not awards, but you can break all of these statistics, right? And so I have friends that are trans. I mean, I don't like talking about this kind of stuff, but it's like, I'm a pretty accepting person. As long as you're not an asshole to me, I don't care what you identify as. I don't care who you're fucking, unless it's kids. Then I think you can go to jail for the rest of your life and burn in hell. But
For animals.
when it comes to your sexuality or whatever you identify as, I don't fucking care as long as you're chill, right? If you're an asshole to me, then you can go fuck yourself. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you identify as a fucking raccoon, I don't care. But when it comes to this, I think right now they haven't found a solution for it, which is why it's being abused. It's certain assholes that are abusing the system because they can, and they're going to continue to abuse the system until things change. And there's going to be all of these rules and regulations, and it's going to just make everything so much more complicated because there's a couple of assholes that are taking advantage of things. And I think at this point there's enough trans athletes now that I think that they can have their own categories in the Olympics, in schools. I think that they can have their own teams at this point, and I think that that's fair.
I don't see a problem with that, but I also, the same people that don't understand, who are going to see that, they're going to go, that's discrimination, that's segregation. I'm like, okay, but you want
to segregate. That's not segregation. There's a boys team and there's a girls team.
Yeah,
and
like you want to segregate literally everybody else, right now.
Exactly. There's a boys' locker room and there's a girls' locker room. I don't see them crying about that segregation, and I don't see any women crying about there being a girls' locker room and a boys' locker room. I don't see any guys complaining that there's a boys' locker room and there's a girls' locker room. When the problem comes is when there's somebody that's trans that's going into one or the other. I haven't seen a single man complain that there's a trans man in the locker room. I haven't. Right? It's the only problem that comes about is when there's a trans woman in a women's locker room. So that's why I say, well, then you guys wanted your own bathroom, so why don't you want your own teams? Why don't you want your own leagues? That's what I find is the hypocrisy of all of it. It's like, you fought so hard to have these things separated, but when it comes to these things, you can't have them separated. It's because they have an advantage, and I think that's shitty. And I have trans friends that feel the exact same way.
Yep. Russell says, what if you identify as a kid? It's coming. I mean, take the sporting example.
That is a thing. There's like that full-grown man that like acts like he's 2 years old. It's disgusting.
You don't even have to make it that gross. You can take the sporting example. What if you have someone who's like that? Who's like, what if Jeff decided I identify? He was joking about that earlier. What if Jeff decides he identifies as an 8-year-old? Is he allowed to play on a Pee Wee team, a football team now? Is he allowed to go punt an 8-year-old through a? Is he allowed to go punt an 8-year-old through an upright? Like, I mean, people want to say, well, that's not the same thing as this and that, and like that.
No, but you are going to have an asshole that does that. That's the problem.
You're on the slippery slope. Exactly. You're on the slippery slope, and you have to understand, like, there has to be a delicacy and there has to be a line drawn, because it's like, okay, I don't think that immediately saying somebody, okay, this idea of wanting to be trans means now we're going to want to identify as a this and a that and a blah. Okay. I think being trans is something really, really specific. It's been around for a long time. This idea of I'm in the wrong body. I should have been a man. I should have been a woman, whatever. That predates a lot of all this other crazy talk by a long ass time. So that's one thing. Where we're getting to the slippery slope, though, is this idea that just because I have corrected my identity in this way, I am now due and everything that goes along with it. That's the slippery slope comes. If we accept that a trans woman is immediately automatically do everything that goes along with it, including, by the way, and this is the one that really pisses me off, including the right to inherit a lifetime of women's oppression, even if they've only been a woman for like a day. That one drives me up a fucking wall. The trans people who are like, I came out as trans 2 years ago. Also, I carry the burden of women's rights. I'm like, bitch, you don't. You carry the burden of having been a closeted trans person your whole life, and that's something else, but you do not carry the fucking burdens of having lived your life as a woman because you didn't do that. You didn't come of age as a woman. You didn't go through puberty as a woman. These are defining moments in a woman's life that you don't claim. You identify however you want, and that's fine, and that means something, sure, but it doesn't mean you automatically claim all of the rights, responsibilities, and privileges of that. If you never cut your dick off and get a vagina, you can never be raped the same way a woman can be raped. Butthole is not the same. Like, I'm not saying you can't be raped in the butt. I'm not saying it's not terrible. It's fucking different though.
Watch Deliverance. Like, you don't have to worry about getting pregnant by somebody that's raping you.
Exactly. It's fucking different. So when you start saying that, though, when you start saying that just because I went through the process of transitioning, I now have inherited all of the rights, responsibilities, privileges, etc. of being a woman, now we're on that slippery slope. Now we're on that slippery slope of saying I identify as this thing and therefore get to do everything that entails. And that's where Russell has a very, very scary point. Ginger Viking Jesus says, if the Jedi and Sith showed up on Earth and arrived at a martial arts exposition, what do you think their responses / thoughts about it would be? Interesting change of subject.
Can I just say finally a change of subject?
I think they would whatchamacallit. I think that they would recognize it as like some sort of really rudimentary precursor to Jedi training, you know?
I have no opinion. I don't understand the question.
If Jedi and the Sith came to Earth and saw martial arts training happening?
I don't understand how that's relevant. But that's because I don't know anything really about martial arts aside from what I've seen in movies.
That's reasonable. Russell says, by the way, what are the odds Chris Rock did lick it? I mean, that really may be the honest to God reason for the slap. He just, Will Smith suspected and just found his reason, found his opening, found his way in. Oh, please, which would you rather get graped in? It depends, Russell. It depends on whether I was concerned and like what my birth control situation was. Because I have an IUD, so yeah, I can't get pregnant, so I'd probably rather get raped in the hoo-ha because it would be less physically unpleasant and damaging. But if it weren't the case and I was concerned that a byproduct of the raping would be pregnancy, I think I'd rather take it in the ass.
Can I just say I'd rather take it in the ass because there's a potential that, stuff could get on them. And they
good point too. I'd shit on their dick on purpose.
But also, I mean, because it's like you got to think of the aftermath of rape. Like, I mean, you get PTSD from that shit. So it's like, would the next time you have sex, would you want to think about like, oh, well, the last time I did it, I was getting raped, and then it traumatizes you and stuff like that. So I would just say it's probably better to get raped in the ass than it is.
That's actually a really, really good point. Because it's like, yeah, if I got raped in the ass, I'd be like, well, I'm never having butt sex again. But okay,
exactly. But it's like,
whatever.
What if like you meet someone and you're healing from being raped, and then you go to have sex and like you just
it triggers everything. And you can't
exactly. So
yeah,
yeah.
Ooh, check out what I picked up, by the way, at Jeff's comment.
But it's like, what if you just ate Indian food and then some guy tries to rape you?
Yes.
Mouse. I almost bought it. I should have when I was in Germany. They have them at every concentration camp, and I almost bought it. And they had it in like 10 different languages there.
Nice. That's awesome.
I should have bought it, but I didn't.
Yeah, happy to hear. Russell says, watch Irreversible and tell me you prefer the tush. I mean, you've heard our reasoning. I think that's a pretty legit reasoning that I just gave. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm very, very with that. Well, this got weird. But we are caught up in super chats now. Thank you, everybody, by the
We're
way.
going for almost 3 hours.
Yeah, this is too long. I mean, not like it's never too long with you. This is actually easy. I can't believe it's almost 3 hours because I'm like, I looked up a little while ago and I was like, oh, we're at like an hour and 40-ish. We'll probably wrap up soon. Nope, it's been over an hour since then.
I think we spent an hour on the trans topic, honestly.
Did we?
I think so. You had a lot to say.
Whoops, we did. That was actually, it was fun. We usually don't get that deep, but I think that we had a lot to say about it. So, and I'm glad we both got to put it out there, you know. You hate us for it, cancel it, but I think it's also important, like, we're allowed to talk about it. We're allowed to have an opinion. We're allowed to have a discussion. As you both heard very unequivocally, Anna and I are accepting people. I have a sliding scale of acceptance that's directly proportionate to how much you suck, by the way. If you're a decent person, I will accept very extreme levels of weirdness and quirks and whatever's from you, as long as you are a good human being and tolerant yourself. If you're a shit, I will not tolerate any of your bullshit. And I will actually become an asshole. I will become extra bigoted to you if I think you suck.
You know what really pissed me off, and I kind of want to vent about this for like a minute or two. So there's this account that I now had to like mute on Twitter because they were like, I don't know, they were kind of it's some kind of like how do I, that entire sentence was just blah 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 blah. It's an official account of some kind of organization, but they were getting popular because I would retweet them and I get a lot of traction on Twitter, and then they would take credit for my tweets getting popular. Like, oh, well, we did this. We got this on the trending page. It's like, no, I got the tweet on the trending page because I retweeted it and my tweet started trending. Yeah. But they did a tweet about how, like, could a trans person or a gay person be a villain? And I'm like, you're an official account of this type of category. And I retweeted them. I'm like, Silence of the Lambs. Hello. Buffalo Bill thinks he's a transsexual. He thinks he's trans, but he's not. And that's why he's been rejected. And that's why he's cutting up women and trying to wear their skin because he wants to be a woman, even though he got denied because he's literally just a psychopath. And I'm like, that's a trans villain, or he not trans, but you know, he's a villain. Also, a gay villain. Did you not watch Interview with a Vampire or read the books? Hello. Like, it pissed me off, and then it just got a little catty after that. And I'm just like, there's been trans characters, there's been gay characters since the beginning of fucking time in movies, in history. Come on. There's plenty of gay kings and emperors, and I mean a lot of women will do the lesbian shit to please a man, so I feel like that's not really an argument, or that's not really an issue, I feel like. But for people that go around acting like, well, there's never been one before, it's like, yes, there have, you just don't know a lot. You're just a very ignorant person. Exactly. And it makes me irritated. So
you don't even bother to educate yourself on the shit that you're trying to educate everyone else on. So
exactly.
Sorry guys, apparently we missed a bunch of super chats. I think the chat skipped on me at some point. I found them though. Russell, thank you. This is very well, Anna. Send a nude to $50 Steve, aka Henry Cavill. If you prove that's Henry Cavill, that's a different story.
I'm not sending nudes to anyone. I don't do that.
Christopher, thank you. I found your super chat. That's why Anna can only compete in female Star Wars trivia. There you go.
Well, see, trivia is very different. It's like a spelling bee. When it doesn't have anything to do with your physical abilities, that I think is completely fine. And you notice how that's not an issue right now? It's only things that take physical prowess. Did I say that right? I don't think so. Prowess.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing it right. That's the only thing that's an issue. Spelling bees aren't an issue right now. Debates aren't an issue with that kind of stuff. Science competitions, math, like triathlon, maybe triathlons. I don't think there's been a trans person that's competed in a triathlon yet that I know of, but decathlons, that was the word I was looking for. You notice how everything that's intellectual, God, I can't speak today. That's not where the issue lies. It's literally just physical competitions. That's where the issue is, which is why I've said they need their own league.
I wonder if enough trans men started winning intellectual events, like if men would start bitching and be like, trans men can't compete with us, blah blah blah. I don't know.
Honestly, I
Trans
think
men can't
men,
play chess
there
with us.
might be a couple of like pussies out there that would do this, but most men that, you know, are masculine, they're just going to be like, all right, dude, whatever.
Rise to the occasion. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be like, all right, that's just going to be a reason for them to work harder.
Exactly.
And that's, I think, where a big difference between men and women is women are very catty. And I think when it comes to men, it would be a bitch move to bitch about a trans man beating them. All that would just be like, all right, I gotta level up, bro.
That said, men.
There are some bitchy men that would cry about it.
There are a lot of dudes in fencing that get butthurt when they get beaten by girls. You punch with your hips and your shoulders. No shit, Russell. But the strength and power in your arm also makes, like, if you have overdeveloped biceps, your arm is heavier. Therefore, the thing that you are striking with, the tool you're using to strike, causes a lot more damage. I'm well aware because I punched really hard for a girl because I got some hips. My arms are like noodle arms though, so that's all my power, yes, comes from there. If my arms weighed twice as much as they weighed and I put the same amount of power from my hips, I would connect a lot harder. That's how physics works. Patrick T, thank you for the super chat. Can we not ruin women's beach volleyball? You mean you don't want nuts popping out of the shorts? Really? That's not what you're watching it for? Not for hoping a little hoping for a little tip. Dr. Govinels, thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry I missed it earlier. Evening, ladies. By the way, got your calendar, Anna. Oh boy.
Oh, thank you.
If we can convince Anna to come to Horror Hound in September, maybe she'll sign it for you. Okay. Read that one. 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 Anna taking all the romance out of anal rape. Yep, just hitting you with the dry facts.
I think I made an excellent point.
Dry facts right there. Russell, thank you for the super chat. I've never had anything in my butt, nor do I have a JJ, but I'm 100% sure that butt grape is going to hurt 10 times worse. No.
Well, Russell, everything about that situation is going to hurt. It's going to hurt you emotionally. It's going to hurt you physically. But if you get raped in the ass as compared to the pussy, you have no chance of getting pregnant, and it's not going to be as traumatizing as you're healing the next time when you go to have sex with like somebody that you actually care about.
So you may have never been stupid enough to try to shove your dick in a woman that you hadn't properly turned on first, but it doesn't work. If you're not aroused, you're not lubricated. That's like a fucking steel trap down there. So it's not that much more pleasant if someone's going to shove it in there. You're going to have the skin tearing. You're going to have the discomfort. You're going to have all those issues. You know, like there's a world in which they're just not even going to get into your ass. They can try and shove and blah, 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 and they're just not even going to get there. But they can force their way into the hoo-ha, and it's going to hurt like balls if it's dry like that. It's going to be very, very uncomfortable. Anyway, I'm just glad Yellow Flash isn't watching this. Does he not like talking about butt rape? Is that not his
Yellow Flash is very against the booty do.
Oh. Well, that's just because he hasn't tried it yet.
No, I guess he has. He just like doesn't like the thought of being in somebody's ass.
I mean, that's fine. Not everybody does. Like, you don't have to.
Well, but see, that's the question that like I'll usually ask people because it's so funny watching Yellow Flash get all squeamish about butt sex. And so every time I say, like, here's the thing, the woman of your dreams looks you dead in the eye and says, I want you to fuck me in the ass. Would you do it? And most guys are like, yes, I will.
Yeah. And most guys will. Most guys are like vaguely curious about it. I think like as humans, we're like, I want to see what's in that hole, you know? Like it's how we do. I feel like you would have butt grape remorse. I mean, you would have any remorse over getting raped. I would just want to have not been raped. I don't think I'm going to sit there in the moment going, man, I really wish I had picked the vagina instead of the asshole. I'm going to sit there thinking, man, I really wish I hadn't been raped. Like, oh, God. I've had shower sex pretty much the same. No, not the same. the crappy stickiness you get from water not being a proper source of lube, but she's still turned on, is not the same as being bone dry inside and out. Not the same, Russell. Because if she's properly turned on, once you get inside and get things moving, the lubrication makes it work. If you're
have you read all
fucking
your
somebody
super
who
chats?
really wants you to go away, you're not going to get lubed up. It's not going to happen. Anyway, I'm just saying. Zach Blackfire says you're not a man unless you've considered trying to get in your girl's booty. I'm just saying. There you go. I mean, there's a couple people though. There's a few people. Jamie Max and Steve Giblin are feeling a little squeamish about it. So, just another Mitchell. OMG, what am I getting into here? One in the chat if you'd fuck your dream girl in the butt. That's what you're getting yourself into. 2 if you would not. I'm just saying, you're talking dream girl. Like anyone on the planet or in your imagination. Peaches has tried it with Cecil. I think other way around. I think Cecil has succeeded. I'm just saying. I have it on good authority.
No.
Like, no. Guitar Jedi. Zach Blackfire is very enthusiastic. We know that. Oh, yeah. We know what I'm about. That's what's up, Zach. Zach B. Now, I have been in a situation where I thought, man, I wish I'd picked the vajayjay instead of the butt. So I guess I can empathize with that statement. Yeah, but that's a very different situation, Russell. I think you can also understand. You're a wise man, and you can understand how those two are approaching that from a very different angle, as it were. Yeah. All right. So Jet Sparks is joining the nose. But other than that, everyone else is kind of on board for team butt sex. Oh, Jamie Max said, oh, Dream Girl. Never mind. Jamie Max has changed his vote. He didn't realize we were talking Dream Girl. He's now on team butt sex.
Yeah. Your dream woman or your dream person says, I want you to fuck me in the ass. I guess it's a little bit different if you're a woman and he like wants you to use a strap on. That's like, I don't know. There's no man, including Henry Cavill, that would ever get me to do that. You know, not my. What?
I've done it. Yeah, I was dating a guy who wanted to try it. He was the one who brought it up. He was the one who wanted to do it. And so he got a thing called a strapless strap-on, and I fucked him in the butt.
I would never do it. And there's no man on earth that would convince me to. And if anything, my attraction for that man would, like, disappear instantaneously.
I do think I respected him a little less afterwards.
You don't say.
This relationship did ultimately, for many reasons, not just that one, end with me no longer being sexually attracted to him at all. Yeah, I'm glad that I got to try it. I'm also glad that it's not something that Jeff wants me to do to him ever at all. Jeff is not into taking it in the butt. I just want to put it out there. In case you were wondering.
I was not.
What?
I was not.
I didn't.
I respect my friends' privacy when it comes to their sex lives.
I don't respect anyone's privacy when it comes to my sex life. Friends of Phantom says, I remember when I had to sneak real sex on HBO late night to catch conversations like this. Bless the interwebs and one a million ones. Oh, very much into the butts. Pastor Anna. Goodness. Who else said 2? Guitar Jedi. Wait, Guitar Jedi, you changed your answer. I thought you said 1 before, but now that you know it's the dream girl, you're a 2. You're like, oh, I'd fuck any chick in the butt, but not my dream girl. I would not pollute my dream girl in that way. That's reasonable too. All right, should we ask 1 if you'd let your girl fuck you in the ass? Don't answer that question, guys. Don't be Will Smith tonight. Don't be bald. Don't be like Baldy Locks. Jeff comes off as a man's man. Jeff is a man's man.
It's funny. I'm printing out labels for fulfilling, and this one's from Germany, and they have like the most German fucking name ever, and I think it's funny.
Ha! Lieben Hagensblocken.
I don't want to say it because it's somebody's.
Obviously not, but I'm just made up a name.
What the fuck is?
Fine, tell us about what Jeff's kinks are. Jeff's kinks, then. What are they? Honestly, if you listen to him talk on his channel enough, you'll figure it out pretty quick because he's pretty open about one of them. Like his number one. Like he doesn't outwardly be like, this is my number one kink, but like it comes up a lot. Like he references it a lot. And if you bring it up, like he always gets happy if you talk about it. So it's Klausenstrasse. It's not that weird, but it's not that common. I would say. I don't think it's really weird at all, but it's also like it's not that uncommon. It's not like totally random, but like he's the first guy I've met where that was his thing, where he was like, this is my turn on. But I don't think it's that uncommon though. And a lot of people, it's something too that like a lot of people have strong feelings and opinions about, like positively or negatively. Even if it's not their like number one thing. So I'm just saying. Will Smith's kink is to watch Jada.
He just sits there and cries.
And unless the man disrespects Jada, in which case he's asked to intervene to slap him. What about a gimp suit? How about a baldo? Neither. No, neither. Neither of those are Jeff's kinks. Not feet, J.M. Max. If you guys want to guess, I'll tell you if you get it right. Oh, Steve Giblin. My dream girl passed away in a car accident, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm so sorry. Oh, I am so sorry, dude. Yeah, it is not a foot fetish. No, Jeff does not have a foot fetish. I did meet a guy, though, who had one once. I actually met a guy who was like, can I take a picture of your feet so I can see them later? And then I had another guy, and the same guy was like, can I rub your legs? Because I think it's sexy that they're unshaven. I'm like, okay. Not bondage, though we have played around in that, Leviathan. We both, enjoy a healthy amount of getting excited. Does Jeff use Ginger Mike Jesus says, does Jeff use caveman speak when he's getting drunk with his friends? No. Jeff only devolves into caveman speak at the end of the night when he starts falling asleep and you're still trying to get answers out of him. And then he goes, anytime Steve Giblin, that always like gets me in the fifis when I hear that. You have my fifis always on that one. I got a couple listeners. One a listener I'm gonna get to meet this weekend actually who lost his wife, and it's like he's finally in a place where he's like starting to think about putting himself out there again, but it's like you can still feel how much it cuts him all the time. No, Russell, it's not poop on the chest. No. I don't, not armpits. No, I met someone, not anyone. It's not. Oh shit! I actually think I remember which friend it is. I have a friend who has an armpit fetish. No one I've ever had a sexual encounter with has ever had that, but I do have a good friend who has an armpit fetish. I don't think sitting on someone's face is a fetish. No, I wouldn't consider Jeff's thing a fetish either. I wouldn't say it's a fetish. I would say like it's just like. I guess, but it's like it's not that weird. Like it's really not like he thinks it's weirder than anyone else thinks it is. Let's put it that way. So, anyway, anywho, to play. No, it's not that either. Runs with phantoms. But thank you for the quote. Russell says, "Ew, not the mouth. Even Shane wouldn't go that far." Like a mouth fetish? Like wanting to fuck a mouth? Like, is that unusual? I don't know. Mine's weirder. Anna knows mine. Mine's like super weird.
Oh yeah. I don't remember what you said Jeff's was or that Jeff said. I know I've heard it before, but I can't remember. I know yours, which actually I was on, this is going to be the weirdest sentence ever. I was on a podcast talking about a goblin sex doll review. Oh, that's not
right.
I feel like that's not a fetish.
I mean, like
that. That's not like I feel like that's not a sexual act, I should say. That's just like a preference and like, are you a boobs or an ass guy?
Yeah, like it's his turn. Like, I mean, it comes into the foreplay obviously a lot. I'd say that's how it's like it definitely comes into the foreplay, But it's like, it's such an easy, like, you can already imagine, like, it's so easy to integrate that into foreplay that it's just like, yeah, it reads as like very natural. Like, again, he thinks it's, oh, you should play our game with us though. It's really, because you'd probably really enjoy this game because you like people watching.
I'm terrified already.
You just when you see women, you try to guess.
I don't like it. I don't like thinking about that.
You try to guess how if they and how they. It's exciting. It's fun.
Now I want to know what you think about. What'd you guess on me? Don't say it on air though.
I feel like I know you too well though already, so it's like not fair. I feel like I have a good sense of your general grooming habits, so that would give me an unfair leg up in this situation.
Put in the private chat.
So,
look, we just reached another level of our friendship.
I feel like we've given enough clues too that if you guys are paying attention, you probably have an idea where we're at. Hannah's into licking bacon strips. I mean, if they're cooked, hell yeah.
I did not spell that word right, but you know what I mean.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, I fucking knew it. Knew it. There you go. I think you may have actually told me that at one point before too.
I don't think so. That's not something I usually discuss with people.
I feel like we've gotten drunk a couple times and weird shit's come up. But
when was the last time we got drunk together?
What? Not in a while. We should. Can
I just say, anyone that lives in the European Union, please vote in your country to get rid of the fucking VAT tax and the IOSS number, because all of your shipments have been delayed because of shit with that. So please, everyone that I've shipped to the European Union, tell your fucking country's governments to go fuck themselves with the VAT tax and the IOSS number. It's bullshit. Your packages would have been to you by now. I'm checking out order statuses, so I apologize to everyone. Vote for that shit to go away next time you guys can vote. Please and thank you, because it's fucking hell.
Do it. Absolutely. I can commiserate enough because I hear Jeff's woes. He's still been working on his internationals. So, yeah, do that. VAT is the same as sales tax in the US.
No, but they double it for, so we're already paying taxes to ship things out, but then we have to apply for like a VAT number, which for my business, it doesn't qualify for it. And so if I were to send something over, like if I were to send something through Etsy is a business that allows other people to ship through Etsy. So if you're international, I might on my next campaign not do any international orders to the UK or countries that were, or European Union countries, because your governments are fucking insane. And so it's a 20% tax on top of already paying for it. Yeah. So you're getting like taxed twice. So it honestly, it's not worth it to ship over there. And next time I don't think I'm going to do it. So, because Etsy has a VAT number. And so if you're ordering something, it's easier through Etsy to do international orders because it calculates everything is pre-calculated for you, and all of that stuff is like prepaid. So it's stupid and I hate it, and I don't think I can deal with this again because it's a fucking headache.
Yeah. Yep. That it just sounds crazy right now. Until things get better, I think it's totally reasonable for people. Whatever people need to do, shuttering internationals. Russell says Anna's thing is a literal pissing contest. I don't think that's Anna's thing.
No, I'm not into pee.
No, that's gross. Yeah. Anywho, now that we've gotten wildly into sex talk, to rival the stream that, Jedi Bunny got taken down for pornographic reasons.
Oh my God. Yeah, she talks about dildos too much.
Crazy town. I like how this stream got very serious and very sexual. I'm excited. It was good. I'm happy. Anyway, was there anything else that you needed to express on this?
Yes, everyone from the European Union and the UK, vote out those stupid tax rules next time your governments have them in play, because I'm not gonna, I can't do this again. I can't. This is absolute bullshit, and it's making me jump through hoops, and it's angering me. So vote that shit out for me, please, and thank you.
If you want an Anna calendar, you know what to do. Kelly, sweet innocent Kelly, the one and the same. Guys, if you live anywhere near the Dallas, Texas area, come to Serious Pizza at 7 p.m. this Friday if you want to meet me, Jeff, Dion, and whoever else is coming to the meetup. Sweet Pea will be there.
Make sure to bring Dion some horse merchandise.
Oh,
with the horses on it.
Oh, I'm bringing Dion to the stockyards. The odds of him seeing horses are incredibly high.
You know who hates horses too?
Huh.
Tulip.
Oh no!
She hates them. She gets so angry. She wants to fight them every time.
This is too true though. The EU isn't a democracy, and yeah, a lot of that shit is not determined.
So you can't vote that shit?
A lot of times the people, I think a lot of the EU, the people do not have a lot of direct say in how that shit gets regulated or what gets done. But you guys can petition, you can make your upsetness known, you can write your politicians, the people who do have the say. You can do whatever it is you can do to make your voices displeasure heard. Hey, enough of the UK flipped out that they left the EU. So there you go. Anyhoozle. These things happen. These things do happen. Well, all right. Okay. Thoughts? Other thoughts? Words, things?
Other thoughts. Check me out on Twitch. I just qualified for partner and I applied for it. Next time I play it, which I was planning on doing it today, but I've been doing this for so long that I can't. Yeah, go follow me on Twitch. I will be fighting. What's the next boss? Everyone said it in the chat earlier. Whatever the next boss is, that's who I'm going to fight next time. So yeah, go check me out there. Thank you. Oh, yeah. I will be at the hairdresser all day tomorrow. I'm getting my roots fixed, and then I'm getting a Brazilian blowout, which that's how they make your hair straight for months.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I don't have to do my hair anymore, which will be nice.
That'll be a lot of time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. We'll have fun at the hairstyles tomorrow. I'll be on a plane to Texas getting crunk. Guys, make sure you follow all of Anna's stuff. All of her links are in the channels there. On my link tree, all of my links are on that. Make sure you're checking out 17 Live. I will be doing some crazy streams from WrestleMania. Oh, yeah, I'm going to WrestleMania. I don't know if I mentioned that. I'm going to WrestleMania, guys. My very first WrestleMania is this weekend. I'm going with 50% of the world-class bullshitters, Jeff and Dion, and one of Jeff's other friends. We're gonna be hanging out with some listeners. We're gonna be doing some really crazy shit. So just tune in because I will be live streaming at least a few times. So make sure you follow Anna on Twitch, catch her gaming streams. Make sure you follow all of her other channels. Why would you straighten your why would you straighten your pubes? Not that.
No, it's not what it is, Russell.
That would be hilarious. I'm just imagining that now, and it's weird. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna frighten Dion with horses. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good time. Check it out, guys. My official take on the Will Smith slap is coming out on Friday, or maybe tomorrow. I haven't decided. And then whenever it comes out, then on Friday or Monday, my how to make money streaming video is coming out, which will get you also pointed in the direction if you want to continue on that thread and join my crew that I will be onboarding for 17 Live over the next month. So if you're like, I want to start streaming and I want to do it with a group of other people who are going to start streaming, some for the very first time, some who've experienced streaming and are going to try it out over on this platform, but basically a group of people starting it in with you, and somebody who's been on the platform for over a year, helping you get your footing. If that sounds appealing, stay tuned for that video. That's coming. That's all. So yeah. Until next time, there are no reasons.
Bye.
No reasons, no causes, no explanations, no excuses. There is only living.